Brian Rose is a former Wall Street banker, technology CFO, and new media entrepreneur. Known worldwide as the founder and host of London Real. Since 2011, Brian has broadcast his conversations with over 500 of the most influential people in the world, from politicians to rock stars to CEOs of billion-dollar companies. People like Tim Ferriss, Gary Vaynerchuk, Jordan Peterson, Jocko Willink, and Ido Portal. Together with these leaders, entrepreneurs, and experts, Brian creates timeless conversations that empower and inspire people to take action and achieve their maximum potential. London Real is now one of the largest new media platforms in the world, with over 250 million viewers and listeners. Brian is also the founder and CEO of the London Real Academy, an online platform for personal development that has graduated over 10,000 students since 2015. The same year he delivered his seminal TED Talk, Why I Left Millions in Banking to Inspire Millions Online. Brian's mission is to improve the lives of everyday people with the strategies, communities, and the accountability needed for real, lasting transformation, to create a more empowered, collaborative, and conscious world. Please welcome your host, Mr. Brian Rose.
All right, folks, it's amazing having you here tonight. I'm Brian Rose. I want to make you a better storyteller in the next 45 minutes. I know I can because I've taught these techniques to thousands of students. And just like anything, you can get better if you get uncomfortable and do the work and have a good blueprint and a great mentor. And I am yours tonight. So welcome to being here. I'm going to give you 3 public speaking techniques that's going to boost your persuasion skills. But before we get started, do me a favor and type in the chat right now. Tell me what city you're from. Yes, you. I expect an answer for everybody or I'm going to kick you off of this call. I need interaction. So where are you at? London, New York City, Sao Paulo, Tokyo. We have people from countries all around the world. That's the strength here at London Real. And I also want you to type in, what's the single biggest challenge when it comes to your communication and persuasion skills? Let's be honest, folks, we're all bad at communicating, right? We all have bad days, bad moments. What is your biggest challenge when it comes? So tell me what city you're from and the biggest challenge. I'm gonna come see you in about 5 minutes and chat with you, and we're gonna start really trying to get your skills better. And before I get started, I want you to eliminate all distractions. This is really important. Trust me on this. Do me a favor and go to all of those browser windows at the top of your desktop. Close Facebook, Instagram, and Lord knows what else you have up there, but just close it. Next, I want you to take your mobile phone and do what I just did. I went in and put it on airplane mode, all right? Just put it on airplane mode. Trust me. Take the dog, the cat, the pet lobster, whatever, throw them out of the room. Tell the wife, the kids, the husband, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, you're going to be hanging out with Brian Rose for the next 40 minutes. And when you come out, you're going to be speaking like JFK and Martin Luther King. All right, tell them that. But give me your attention. Do that for yourself for the next 40 minutes. And we're going to make some serious progress. So you came tonight. I want to give you the show up bonus. It's from one of my guests, which is Robert McKee. He is pretty much the most incredible genius I've ever met when it comes to teaching how to tell stories. He's known for mentoring some of the greatest screenwriters in Los Angeles, and he has a book called Story that is required reading for any film director, anybody in the storytelling business. So I've got a bonus from him. It's him talking about storytelling. Watch this after the masterclass, all right? But the link is in there. I've also got 3 more bonuses for you right at the end of the masterclass, so stay tuned for those. All right, folks, let's jump in here. Tonight is about telling a compelling story. And when you tell a great story, it's easier to influence people. And that could be your inner circle, your boss, your clients, your audience, or even your kids. I use this on my 2-year-old. And you want to really be able to inspire and persuade them to take action. That's what it's all about, folks. I want you to get people to do things. That's what a great communicator does. They don't just entertain, they get people to take action. Think about the great leaders in this world. That's what they get people to do. So you can do one of 2 things. You can have these great ideas and they can either die inside your brain, or you can learn how to get them out to other people. And I remember one time I heard someone ask Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest men in the world, what's your most important skill? And everybody waited because everybody wants to buy whatever he says. And they thought he would say analyzing markets, reading a balance sheet, looking for the best stock to buy. And he said persuasion. That was his most important skill because he had to get people to do things that they didn't necessarily know they wanted to do. And that's how he became a multi-billionaire. And that's how you can do too. So it's really important to understand this art of storytelling and persuasion. Look at some of the great guests on London Real. Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia, when he talks about spirituality or what it was like to train on one of the most grueling sports, he tells it through stories. Look at Ido Portal, the movement coach for Conor McGregor. Ido uses stories to connect with you. And finally, Dan Pena, the $50 billion man, my mentor, he is great at telling these war stories of him in the trenches, in the military, in the oil business, all of these things to communicate what he wants to get you to do in your head and to take action. And that's what I want to teach you to do tonight. So tonight we've got 3 parts of this masterclass. The first is how to use story as a metaphor for life. Let me repeat, how to use a story as a metaphor for life. It's slightly not obvious, but once you get it, you can use it every single day. Second, I want to show you how to magnify emotion to truly move your audience. And we're going to do this through what I call the forces of antagonism. Things that are going to push you and you have to push back. This is perfect for storytelling. And 3, I want to show you how to use the hero's journey. This is a story structure used by some of the greatest filmmakers in Hollywood. It's used in the Bible, and once you see it, you can use it for yourself and you'll recognize it everywhere. So those are the 3 things we're going to do tonight. I'm going to hit you hard with actionable information. I need you to participate. There's no point in being here unless you're going to go all in. So I need answers in the chat, and I need interaction, or I'm going to throw you out. All right, so why are you here? Well, you're here for 3 reasons. First, you want to learn how to present your ideas with persuasion. Second, you want to be more confident. And third, you want to influence more effectively. And my story is that I had none of these things where I grew up. I grew up in San Diego, California, and I loved science and math and computer programming because I was good at it, and it allowed me to push myself and learn, but it wasn't very good at interacting with other humans. I couldn't persuade, I couldn't communicate, I couldn't influence. And so then I went to MIT, even worse. There was no debate club, no English department. We would just email each other all the time. And I really never got these skills until I started London Real. And if you watch the first 3 years of London Real, I didn't talk much because I didn't know how. I was just listening to the guest, and honestly, I wasn't that useful. And finally, something hit me, and I thought, you know what? I need to learn how to communicate just like the people that are in the leather chair. If I can do that, I can start to make things happen. And so I started investing in my communication skills. I was horrible at first. I made mistakes. But I finally started building my speaking skills. And then I got on the TED stage. And I still remember about that day. I was nervous. I had prepared so much. I had written my story. I had done everything we're going to talk about tonight. I had antagonists, and I'll show you what I did. And those 16 minutes on the TED stage were the most important of my life. That talk went viral, was watched by over 300,000 people, brought in millions of dollars of business, and it showed me that communication is the force multiplier. More than money, more than education, what school you went to, your peer group, your connections. None of that matters if your communication is on point. So I kept going. And that talk went even further, and I found a way to communicate my 100-year plan. When I started talking about my vision and my mission, I got a whole team together here at London Real. I got more guests and more people that wanted to follow me. I learned how to teach and inspire over 3,000 of my accelerator graduates inside the London Real Academy. I now host a program called Real Deal, where I talk straight to camera like this for an hour about current events and things that are on my mind, all because of these skills. Finally, I can make a change and impact the world, but most importantly, I can affect the people that really matter in my life, which is my family. I can go home and really take them to the next level, speak to my sons and my daughter, and really make plans for the future and get them to do what I want to do. Go to my favorite vacation spots and order my vegan meals. So now I'm not just the guy in the chair listening. Now I'm putting my views forward. Does that make sense to you? Type yes if you know what I'm talking about, and if you want to do the same with your communication skills, because it's no longer time to play small. It's time to step up and roar, and that's what we're going to do tonight. So first of all, I want to go to the tapes. I want to hear the chats, and of course, as usual, my left-hand man here is Mr. Julian Bales, our head of strategy here at London Real. I don't know if I could even do these things without you, Julian. What would I do without you? You're always here. You're talking to the audience. How are you feeling about this subject? Do you think people really understand the value of communication?
I think they do. I think a lot of people are afraid to really invest the time and the effort in getting uncomfortable to be able to master it, though.
Yeah, they say public speaking is kind of the scariest thing people do, right? More than going into enemy fire, more than even facing a certain terminal death. It's like public speaking. So when I talk about this stuff, people subconscious say, yeah, I'll do that next year, Brian, but now is the time. If you've looked at my journey, if I hadn't learned how to communicate, you know, none of this would be here, literally, because I voiced my thoughts. So who do we got out here tonight? Where are they from, and what kind of things are they saying?
It's a very international crowd this evening, Mr. Rose. We have the Americans out in force. We have Aaron in Cincinnati.
Ohio, very nice.
Rocky in Washington, D.C.
Okay, good stuff.
Dylan in Milwaukee.
All right.
Jennifer in Texas.
All right, thank you for representing my fellow Americans. I always wanted to say that. Great stuff, great cities. I love this. This really represents a diverse group of Americans, so thanks for coming tonight. Who else we got?
We have a couple of South Africans in the house as well, Tristan and Jeff.
We always have a strong South African contingency in our academy. Cape Town, Joburg, I mean, I love it, you know. The South Africans like getting out of the box, they like pushing themselves, so thanks for being here.
Tolga in Istanbul.
Okay, fantastic, good stuff as well. Bunch of Turkish grads as well, right on the edge of Europe and Asia. Again, always looking to the future, I love it.
David representing Naklo, Slovenia.
Ooh, okay, Slovenia, good stuff. We've got a graduate from Slovenia as well.
Ankit in Delhi, India.
Okay, fantastic, representing India, good.
Kazafi in Bahrain.
Okay, very nice.
Thomas in Vienna. And how about Frank in Tórshavn, Faroe Islands?
Faroe Islands, is that way down? Oh no, that's up north of Scotland, right? It's in Scotland, right? Okay. Wow, look, truly international crowd. It's funny, you naming these things off. We've got graduates of our various accelerator programs in all of these countries, always represented as well in Asia and Australia and New Zealand. You know, what we do here is international, and actually our strength is from all of these people, different ideas and feedback from different communities. So that's amazing. What are people saying is their challenge when it comes to their communication abilities?
Quite a range of challenges here. So Adam in Mexico City says his challenge is constructing what he's going to say and not waffling.
Okay, what you're going to say and not waffling. I think I spoke to you, Adam, on one of our Zoom calls this week. So yeah, exactly. A lot of people can actually get on the stage, but they don't know how to structure a speech. They're two different animals. Tonight's art of storytelling is one crucial piece there. So stay with us.
Talking about stories there, Glenn says keeping in line with his stories and not getting sidetracked so much.
Yeah, great point. You know, we're going to go into the art of storytelling tonight. You really have to have specific beats. It has to be big changes in your character. Did it go up? Did it go down? You have to be distinct or you lose people. Nobody likes the guy that tells you the story. I went home, I fed my dog, I changed my clothes. It's like, what's happening? I'm going to teach you that tonight.
Mark says, I have a hard time closing up a talk, tying everything together at the end.
Yeah, you know, you need to close with a call to action. So many people forget that. They forget that in business meetings as well. I can't tell you how many of those I went to at the end. Everyone smiled and said, wow, that was amazing. There was no call to action. If you don't get people to do things, you are not a great communicator. That's super important to know. This is not about entertainment. This is about taking action.
Finally, Alan in Vancouver, Canada says, English as a second language is a challenge for his public speaking.
Yeah, look, I've heard this so many times. And, you know, I realize it can be difficult to have English as a second language, but I also know it can be an excuse. And if you look at people like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his early movies when he was 20 years old, I mean, he can barely speak English, but he kept going, he kept going, he kept going. Look at Ariana Huffington, right? Huffington Post sold that company to $150 million to AOL. She said, Brian, I used to take lessons to get my English better until someone said, why? We love your accent. It's authentic. So please don't sell yourself out. Most people that have English as a second language don't know how good they are at English. And if you have a great message and a great story, people will forgive a lot of that stuff. I know people that speak perfectly good English that I don't want to listen to because they can't tell a story. So follow tonight, and I think we can get you to the next level. All right?
Sounds good.
All right, folks, let's get started. As you know, I don't like to waste time here at London Real Studios. I'm going to give you 3 points of actionable information. I need you to come along on the ride with me. I need you to go ahead and give me your input. Get uncomfortable. Get a little vulnerable. Get a little emotional. Because that's what story is all about. It's about being who you really are, giving us some details and taking us through your journey. And I want to talk about the first part here, and listen to what I'm going to say. Story is a metaphor for life. I want you to write this down. Story is a metaphor for life. And this was said by Robert McKee, who is my guest here on London Real. He is, like I said, one of the most renowned teachers when it comes to story in the world. He teaches screenwriters that have written movies that have won Oscars. He travels the world and has a 3-day story seminar that I went to in London and that some of my guests have attended, like John Joseph. He credits Robert McKee with the writing of his autobiography. He is really, really good at this stuff, and I want to transfer some of the knowledge to you tonight. So first of all, a storyteller is someone who transforms everyday life into a collection of events and words that actually says something. Does that make sense? You could go to the store and buy some milk and come back home, but if you craft it with the right emotional beats, that could be one of the most fascinating stories I've ever heard. So, you know, life is a lot like this. A story resembles life, but never word for word. You have to pick out the emotional beats. It's always a sequence of emotions and steps. And if you can get that in your head, we can magnify those and you can have a really compelling story. Ultimately, a story offers a specific truth, some type of lesson I can take home with me, but you've got to give me those beats. Otherwise, I'm going to tune you out and I won't even listen to what you say. So the whole thing has to make sense as a whole. And let's go to my board here, and I want to see if I can graphically represent this to you somehow, because, you know, this is really important to do, and it's an important concept to really talk about. So again, if you're thinking about your story, you know, think about it with an axis of time. You know, as you start talking about your story, you're going through the different minutes, and say you have a TED Talk like me, which is 16 minutes. You need to always think that, well, I need to make sure I have emotional and concrete steps. So things have to happen always in the story. So you might start off at one point, things have to go somewhere. You might go from, say, a loving scenario to, say, a hating scenario. You might go from a situation in your life where you feel strong and then you get weak. You might go from a place in your life where you're ignorant and then you get smart. You might go from a place in your life where you're enthusiastic and then you get bored. These are different steps of telling a story. And once you can recognize that in your story, you can start to really learn how to construct these emotional beats that magnify something that will resonate with people. And so to make this point really well, I want to play for you a section of my TED Talk. And again, I crafted this story. This wasn't just something I made up on my own. I spent months and months getting every single emotional beat here, and see if you can tell what I'm doing here and the different emotional beats of my story. And this is me talking about Joe Rogan. What microphones to use? Which cameras? How do you live stream video? And this is back in 2011. Not a lot of information out there. So I emailed the one guy who I knew would help me. And that's Mr. Joe Rogan. He is a stand-up comedian and commentator for the UFC, which is the global cage fighting organization. And he hosts one of the top 10 podcasts in the world. My inspiration for London Real. And Joe gave me the best advice I've ever received. He completely ignored me. No email, no hints, no tips, no mentoring. And I could have quit. But instead, he gave me the chance to earn all of this. So research it once and take action. Or as my guest, Dan Pena, the $50 billion man, likes to say, perfection is paralysis. Make some mistakes and learn from them. So don't Google it. Don't listen to another podcast. Well, maybe one. Just do it. About a year later, I got a message from Joe Rogan, and he invited me to come to Los Angeles to be on his show. And this was a big moment for me for a lot of reasons. But the most important one is that now I wasn't meeting Joe as a fan, I was meeting him as a peer. And so I flew to California and I went on his show, and it was 3 hours long and it was broadcast live to hundreds of thousands of people. And at the end, on a whim, I said, to anyone listening around the world, if you like my story, then I challenge you to start your own city real. Boom, that was part of my TED Talk, and again, that thing went viral. Over 300,000 people watched it. Millions of dollars of revenue came in through partnerships. All right, here we go. Let's talk about this story, right? I'm talking about Joe Rogan, so let's see what's exactly happening here. I'm starting off here and I'm like, wow, I really want to do my own podcast. It's this really excited, emotive moment where I'm going up here in this piece. I'm going forward with a plan for the future. I email Joe Rogan, what happens? Nothing happens. Bam, go down. And now I'm at a low state, very depressed. It's a very specific event that we can see. But what do? I decide not to accept that. He's done me a favor and I have to do the work myself. So I keep building up in my story. And then what happens after I've done the work? Joe invites me on the show, which really was more like here for me. I mean, seriously, it was probably one of the few incredible events of my life when I got that tweet from Joe. So again, you see here very specific beats of the story structure. When you tell your story, you need to think of these and find them and make sure each one goes up or down. It can really be mixed. You can see there I had 2 ups there, you can have 2 downs, but make sure it gives a real story arc. So I want you right now to do me a favor. I want you in one sentence, I want you to give me a pivotal story in your life where you experienced change. Again, I'm going to need you to go from one state to the next state, okay? It could go from hate to love. It could go from sadness to happiness, but I need you to go from one state either down or up. And I need you to tell me one sentence. It could be, when my grandmother died, I was the most devastated I've ever been, but once I got married, life was great again, right? When my child was born, they had to go to intensive care for 6 weeks and I thought we'd lose them. But now he just had his first baseball game. I don't know, I'm making this stuff up. But tell me right now in one sentence, a story of your life where you experienced change, where you can really show me that you understand this point. So do it now. Again, I'm coming to the chat. I'm throwing all of you off that don't do this sentence. So make sure it happens. And while you do that, I want you to listen to one of my students. His name is Vikram. And on my course, my speaking course that I taught him, he learned how to pull the trigger and take action. He also learned how to eliminate procrastination. And if you can tell in this video, he's actually telling me a story to make that point clear. He's very tricky. Here is Vikram.
You know, 6 weeks ago, intellectually, I knew that I need to push through resistance. Resistance is real, fear is real, but the Vikram now has pushed through resistance at will, you know, and I've just picked up my phone, and after 15 minutes of writing out a completely new speech and deciding I'm going to make this one a comedy, and I started talking about, okay, well, how has losing my hair at a young age helped my self-confidence? I'm just going to work out how to talk about that. And I just worked it out, 15 minutes, because I had to. I just picked up my phone, pressed the live button, and I went in. And I just gave a speech about that. Before, I would have spent weeks, you know, I would have spent weeks going, right, how do I perfect this? Okay, you know, I need to make sure I get this in. Let me test this out with about 15 people, get everyone's feedback, listen to all the feedback, tweak it to acknowledge their feedback. Forget all of that. Just pick it up, do it. Gary Vaynerchuk says, don't overthink. Do, then know, then decide. I was always stuck in the overthinking. And in this course, I did. Now I know, now I can decide. And that's powerful.
Did you catch what Vikram was doing there? He was telling you a story and he got his point across. And that, again, is effective storytelling that he learned inside this course. Again, he really learned how to beat procrastination and he's taken his life to the next level. I love it. The call to action here is I need you to tell me that one story. It needs to tell me about your life when you experience change. Don't be the guy or the girl that tells you the most boring story in the world that goes flatline, right? It makes me feel like I'm flatlining. Hey, the other day I went home and I walked my dog and then I brushed my teeth, then I watched some Netflix, and then I went to the fridge and I'm like, well, what are you telling me? You gotta give me some up and down, otherwise there's no story. So I'm gonna go to the tapes here and talk to Mr. Bales. Are there any other people calling me out for our live broadcast? If not, we're gonna talk to you. But Tommy, we love you, man. We love you guys, so keep it coming. What are people saying? Look, this isn't the most obvious point to get, but are people understanding that I'm looking for one sentence where they go from a low to a high or a high to a low?
Yeah, I think people are starting to get this. Some people have suddenly embraced it and really gone a bit bigger than others. Okay. Let's start with Terpia here. Terpia says, I dropped out of university in the first year, Then I restarted again from the first year and finished the same time as my former colleagues by jumping ahead a year.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I like that story. I think we need to magnify it a bit more to really hit home. And we can do that with vocabulary. When you do it live, we can do it with voice tonality. But again, you know, and this next part, I'm really going to show you what I'm talking about. So you've got the building blocks. You just need to make me feel like it felt for you, right? When you dropped out, it was devastating. And when you went back, you actually you accelerated and you made it to the finish line the same time they did. So I like what you're saying there. We're going to up it with emotion in the next part.
Glenn says, when I started crypto trading, I made 4-year salaries. I thought I was the best trader in the world, only to suffer a massive 70% loss in the next few weeks.
Perfect. I love this. This is a great story. We can all relate to it. Again, I think you can give me a few more details and we can jack it up with emotion to where it really takes me to the high and takes me to the low. But the 4 times salary is great. We can all relate to that. Then it can go down. This could be the start of a TED Talk. This could be talking about your new cryptocurrency trading company. All of a sudden, I'm relating to you. You've told me about a story in your life. I love it. It's a great start.
Harry says, when I was fighting my opponent, I took a vicious blow to the head. I was down on the floor, spinning, fading out. But when I came up, I thought I saw my friends and family in the crowd, picked myself up and went on for the win.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. So again, he's at a current state, goes down with the knockout, and then boom, comes up, or kind of comes up to the medium status and then back up to the win. So that's perfect. Again, I think we can even amplify it more to really get those emotional arcs, which is going to be incredible.
Finally, here we have Jonathan says, I was walking down the stairs in debt. At the bottom of the stairs was a beggar asking me for €1. In that moment, I became clear that I was broke, not poor. People had trusted me in this situation, and that began his road back up.
I was broke, not poor. Okay, interesting. Look, I think there's something here. I just think we need to find a way of really making a transition, so where I can really feel how you felt. As in you were low, you were feeling low, and this interaction brought you back up to the highs. So let's work on it, because each part of the story should have an interaction that goes up or down. Very important about the storytelling. All right? All right, folks, let's keep going on with this concept. Again, this stuff is really, really important. This, in part 2, I want to teach you how to magnify emotion to truly move your audience. And again, we've heard some great stories there, but if we don't magnify those emotions, I'm talking about the highs go high, the lows go low, the anger gets more, the sadness gets more. We really have to take people there. That's the way we're going to be effective storytelling. So if you want to move people, if you want to inspire them, if you want to grab their attention, you must connect with their emotions, both good and bad. That's what all the great storytellers do. You need to go to the extremes of human nature. If you look at my latest movie, Iron Minds, I'm almost dead at one point in the movie. And at the end, I finished this Ironman race in less than 6 hours. Those are highs and lows that humans can really relate to. You must use negative forces here. This is crucial. We also like to call them antagonists. You need to have something that is against you. In our recent examples, you've got the cryptocurrency market that is battling against you. You've got the opponent in the boxing or the MMA match. You always need a great antagonist to have this real emotional journey. And let's go to the board here, and I can be a little bit more specific about what I'm talking about here with emotion. So again, we know we've got our different beats of our story as time goes on. Very, very important. Now we really need to talk about emotions. And a lot of people kind of forget this sometimes, how people are feeling. So again, this is the journey that you're describing. And again, I love these axes here. We're always working with time, because as you're talking, that story is moving forward. A lot of times your story is moving forward in time. So this axis is time, and this axis over here is emotions. And we'll put a little heart there, right? And maybe a little sad face too, okay? So we got some emotions here, all right? So most of the stories you just told me, they were okay, they were good, but to be honest, they were kind of lacking in emotions. I heard them like walking down the stairs, and then the beggar asked you for this. You realized you weren't broke, but you weren't poor. It was good, but it felt kind of like this, if that makes sense. I didn't really feel inspired. I didn't feel like you were devastated. I really felt that there was this emotional journey. A little better with the crypto, felt like I was a little lower here and a little higher, 4 times salary, lost it all. Well, you didn't come back, you kind of stopped there. And then the MMA as well, I felt a little bit more here. You can see what I'm doing here and coming back. You really need to stretch those emotions with your audience if you want to have something really that's memorable. You need to magnify the negative forces in your story. And my guest, my former guest, Robert McKee, the Hollywood story doctor, he says this: a protagonist and his story can only be as intellectually fascinating and emotionally compelling as the forces of antagonism make them. And let's look at the great movies that we love, right? Star Wars, there is no Luke Skywalker without Darth Vader, right? He's constantly making his life difficult, right? He's trying to get Princess Leia out. He's trying to kill him with the lightsaber. No Darth Vader, we're not invested in this story. So try to find a great antagonist, an opponent, a digital currency market, something that really pushes you. There's no James Bond without a Bond villain, right? Have you ever watched a James Bond movie without a villain? Of course not. You need that antagonist to really build these emotions. And even in a movie like Fight Club, the villain is society. It's this normalcy that these guys are fighting against by going to these fight clubs. There's always a great antagonist in a story, and you need to use that the same. And again, you use that antagonist to really maximize these emotions. And I'm going to talk about how I did this in my TED Talk shortly and teach you how you can do this. And again, if you're a 7-year-old and you go to school and there's a bully there, to an adult, it might look like 2 kids. But to the 7-year-old, this bully looks like he's 20 feet tall and the scariest thing he's ever seen. So you just have to put it in perspective and tell a story that will get my emotions. It's really important. And here is a great example of storytelling from Dan Pena, the $50 billion man, one of my mentors. And watch how Dan tells you this story, because he could tell you this version of this story, right? But he goes ahead and tells you the massive emotional journey story. So watch this, and I'm very curious as to what you think.
I wish I had a modicum of athletic ability. I would have been an all-American fucking Olympian, because nobody would work harder at it. They used to say, now just imagine you're growing up, and I reminded my 2 buddies of this, they had forgotten. Coach Roy J., the football coach at high school, said, "You're so fucking slow, Peanut, you should wear the other team's jersey." Now just think that through. You're so fucking inept, you should be wearing their jersey and playing for them. I just come back and hit that fucking line again. I didn't care. They used to stand me in the corner with a dunce cap. They said I was retarded. And if I looked around too many times, then they put me in the fucking closet. They had to take the dunce cap off because the dunce cap was too high to get me in the closet. And I would be in there 4, 5, 6 hours till school was over. Piss my pants, shit my pants, because they wouldn't let me out. Just imagine today. I had to school the LA School District when I was in the Army. Pena, you're the sorriest excuse of wetback Mexican guy. Then when I became an officer, you're the sorry excuse wetback officer. All my life, but I've never thought of it as being brutalized. I never thought of it that way.
And you're glad that happened.
Fucking right I am.
I mean, Dan's a little over the top, right? I mean, he really goes for it. I thought he was going to bust a gasket when he was telling me that story, but it's always entertaining. He's doing that at 73 because it works. Dan knows the power of a story, and when he tells you that as a child, he's in the corner for 7 hours, shitting his pants, the army sergeant is yelling at him, he always magnifies it, and you'll always remember the point he was trying to make, which is what? He fought through the resistance through sheer hard work and a great mentality, and that's why he's successful. Do you see what I'm saying there? The message, the truth, you got because he used a massive amount of emotions, and you will not forget that story. Really powerful here. In my TED Talk, you could see that I had antagonists as well. So for Dan, it's the army guy, it's his teachers in school, it's society that didn't understand him, it's the coach that told him he was useless. I had antagonists in my TED Talk as well. I had Joe Rogan who wouldn't help me. If you watch my TED Talk, I have my friends and family who wouldn't even like my Facebook page on London Real. And I have this whole banker lifestyle that was really against everything I was for. The bigger the antagonist, the greater the emotion of the story. Always remember that. The more pressure you experience in the story, the more difficult your choices become, which reveals your true character and it makes your story more compelling. This is super important. So on this note, I want you to do this exercise right now. It's super important. So from the story you told me before, that one sentence, I want you to identify who is your main antagonist and why. And really big this up. all right? And talk about them more. So if you were in that MMA fight or that boxing fight, tell me the name of this person, their record, what they looked like, what they smelled like, the little kitten that they kicked in the dressing room before they went out. Really build them up as an antagonist. If you're in the cryptocurrency markets, tell me how ruthless they are. Tell me how many people they bankrupt. Really talk about this antagonist and magnify it and tell me why. So go ahead and type in there. Again, I want to see answers from everybody or I'm going to throw you out. This is really important to have this counterbalance to your story. And while you're watching that, I want to share with you a video with one of my students named Jamie. And Jamie found a real problem when he was on this course last year, Speak to Inspire. He got to a point and his grandmother passed away. And she was one of the women that raised him as a young child. And I remember he came to me and said, Brian, I've got to stop the course. And I said, actually, Jamie, you don't. This is a reason that you need to finish this course. You need to do this for your grandmother because she wouldn't want you to quit. And here's Jamie talking about this story. And if you recognize he's using the story to teach you something, which is persistence and fighting against resistance. So here's Jamie.
As I said before, I've been doing loads of entrepreneurial courses, and there is nothing like the system that you have. It's just unbelievable. As you know, I had one of the biggest setbacks in my life. The biggest piece of resistance ever was thrown to me at the beginning of the course. My grandma, who is also, for me, she was also my mom. I lost her on the first week of the course. And on the very first video call that we did, you said something to us and you said about resistance. And you said, maybe you are going to have loads of resistance in this course, but I please want you to stick to it. And we will help you with the accountability group and everything. We will pull you through to the end goal. So when my grandma died, I was actually here when that happened.
I know.
I was here. And it was a devastating news for me, but I had a responsibility towards you and towards my team as well, my team members. And I decided, Brian is right, this is your resistance. It's a massive resistance, the biggest fear I ever had since I was a little child. But that's not gonna stop me, because my grandma would not like me to stop because of that. She would like me to actually take this as an inspiration and taking it to the next level. So I just stuck to it. I talked to you. You said to me, wow, Jaime, that's really bad. And it's impressive that you are actually pulling through this and stuff. And I was just like, I received so much love from the group. It's just incredible. It's just, this course, Brian, my respect. It's amazing.
Tell me about it. I still remember when Jamie came to me. It was in week 4 of the course, and he was loving the course. He was a great student. He had an amazing message, but he gave me this news about his grandma, and again, she was one of the women that raised him, and he wanted to quit. And a lot of people would have said, I totally understand, do what you have to do, but it just made me angry. And I said, Jamie, would your grandmother want you that? Would she want you to just punk out on the whole thing, or would she want you to get up on that stage and crush that speech and change the world? And he thought about it for 24 hours, and he's like, Brian, you're right. I'm coming back with a vengeance. And he crushed it. And again, what a great story as well. And, that's what we do inside this academy. So right now, I want to hear from you. Who is your antagonist and why? And how can you magnify them to be a great source of evil that you can push against and show your true character? So, Julian, this is maybe a little more of a complex point or nuanced point, but it's really true. If you look at the great movies and the great people out there, our latest movie, Iron Mind, I got John Joseph in New York City, who's a foul-talking New Yorker, and he's constantly pushing me to do things I don't want to do. Without him, it would just be me running a triathlon. It would be boring. So you need that, that nemesis to get great story. Are people getting this?
They definitely are. Let's start with Lisa. She says, my mother was my main antagonist. My mother, she says, the only person I wanted to support me told me to give up, that it's costing too much, and that I will never get pregnant now and have my dream. She's too old.
Wow, I love it. This is a perfect antagonist. Of course, it's usually the ones that we love that hurt us the most, and that's why there's great stories around these people. So I love this, and again, you've got this weird relationship where you need her love so much, and she's the one person in your life that can support you, and yet she's the one that's really hurting you or pushing you to become a better person. And that's what this final section is going to be about, the hero's journey, because again, you can look at this in 2 different ways. It's how you act on what happens from the antagonist. So I love it. To be honest, family is one of the great antagonists. I mean, look, Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father at the end of the day, right? So, it happens. So this is perfect. I think you've really got it. The more you can big this up and show this conflict, the greater a story you have, which means the greater truth you can tell. That's why we're doing this, folks.
Roxanne says, my main antagonist was myself. A lot of people are actually saying this.
Yeah, this is good.
He says, my own inability to know when to let go of my last relationship, even though I knew long ago that we had problems. Because of my waffling and feelings of guilt and responsibilities towards my ex-girlfriend, I may have lost the love of my life.
Yeah, look, I love it. It's so true. I believe we're all fighting a war inside our brains with ourselves. That's what life is. And when you can start to win that war, that's when you become successful. And I could talk your ear off on how to do that, and that's a different accelerator course. But the truth is that many times we are our own antagonists. And again, our latest movie, Iron Mind, John is the antagonist, but I also am as well. And I talk about my really dark days in New York City that were caused by me. And so it really is this great struggle that we all have with ourselves. And so if you can really describe who that person is, the bad things they make you do, and describe them almost as a separate negative entity, you really have a great story here. And again, you also have a great truth and ultimately a success story when you find a way to overcome that resistance. So I love it. This is really crucial. And in Robert McKee's storytelling, he often talks about internal conflict, external conflict, and then conflict with society. So this is perfect that they're getting this.
Terence says, my antagonist could be considered the huge debt my wife and I had. Our lack of funds and our poor spending habits could, with our apparent lean on self-control. Didn't feel like cooking, so we ate out all the time. Wanted to do something and change it. Robbing Peter to pay Paul, he's saying.
Yeah, okay, good. I love it. If you really big this piece of debt up, or this concept of debt, you can actually turn it into this dark entity. You can give it emotions. You can talk how it's relentless, and it comes up and sneaks up and tricks you to doing things that feed it with more energy. This is a really, really great way to start a story. I'm already interested. I'm already feel this as something I want to listen to and something I'm going to remember, as opposed to if you just talked about it as something that wasn't antagonizing you. So I love it. I think it's a great way to tell a story about overcoming these things, and hopefully you will, and that'll be the end of the story. But I think people are really getting this. So again, you're only as good as the forces of evil against you. Pressure reveals true character. That's what John Joseph said to me in Iron Mind, and that's what we want to build here in our story. So again, we have the different beats of the story that are doing things. Now we're cranking up the emotion with antagonistic forces. Again, it could be anything. It could be the bus driver that sees you there and keeps driving off. It could be the person at Starbucks that makes you go to the back of the line. It could be the teacher at school. It could be like little things, or it could be Kim Jong-il or President Trump or all these other figures. Whatever it is, as long as you can give it emotional relevance, it makes a great story. All right, part 3, let's get into this, folks, and this is really relevant for a lot of you out there. And this is an incredible concept and structure that once you master it, can literally change your life. It will change the way you look at the world, and I'm going to share with you one of my students. This actually changed her life, this structure, without her even talking about it. Also, it'll change the way you communicate with the world, and you'll see it in many, many things, because this structure is in some of the most popular movies, some of the most popular books and stories, and even in the Bible. And that is what we call the hero's journey. The hero's journey is amazing because it will make your story memorable, even for days and weeks and years, because you're going to connect on the deepest level with your audience. And many big Hollywood movies use this. You would have seen this in Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and The Matrix as well. I'll go into that shortly. And it was coined by an author named Joseph Campbell, who noticed the structure and started using it in all of his works. I am actually using this in my current movie, Iron Mind, which is premiering next week in London. You're going to be able to see it, and you'll see the hero's journey in there, and it's incredible. So let's take a look at this hero's journey. And you can see on this slide here, it's actually got 12 steps, and I'll walk you through them while you look at this slide. And you can see we have it as kind of a circle here, because you kind of come back to the start. But you start in the ordinary world. Next, you have a call to adventure. Then you refuse that call. Next, you actually meet the mentor. Then you cross the threshold to the other side. Next, you encounter tests and allies and enemies. Finally, after that, you're approached. You deal with death and rebirth and all sorts of ordeals. You finally seize the sword, and next you take the road back. You are resurrected. You return with the elixir back to your original state. That is the hero's journey structure. It's absolutely incredible. And I really want to talk about that here, because once you can master it, you'll see this thing everywhere. I mean, the hero's journey is actually really amazing. So again, we started with the circle. The hero's journey kind of goes around like that. You come back to that initial reality, but you have points along the way that you go through these certain tests. And again, this is the hero's journey. And you need right now to start figuring out your own hero's journey. Because if you can tell this, it's one of the most effective communication skills. And I always like to use Luke Skywalker from the original Star Wars movie. I'm a little bit older. I don't watch number 9 and 10 and 11 and all that computer graphic stuff. I'm old school in the 70s with Luke and Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. But if you look at that movie, we start off with basically the ordinary world. Luke Skywalker, he's hanging out on that planet with the 2 suns, right? He doesn't really know what he's going to do. He's on one of that Land Rover things without any wheels. He's in the sand. He's kind of misguided, doesn't know what's going on. He meets Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Kenobi's like, let's go do this. We're going to go on this adventure. We're going to do some crazy gangster stuff. And he's like, no, I don't think I want to do it. He refuses the call. But finally, over here, he finds that his aunt and uncle are killed, right? He comes home, there's dead bodies and smoke everywhere, and he realizes that he's actually met the mentor of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's got to go and cross the threshold. And he goes into this crazy world, and there's the Force, and there's lightsabers, and there's Darth Vader dude, and there's Princess Leia, and they got to go capture her, and he's got ordeals and rebirth, and he's got to actually step up and try to blast the Death Star out. He's got real trials and tribulations. Finally, Darth Vader gets spinning off in the distance, and they blow up the Death Star, and he comes back to the ordinary world, and there's that ceremony at the end where Chewbacca yells, and they get those medals, and now he's part of the Rebel Alliance, and he's back with the Force, with the lightsaber, with a whole new vision on the world, right? Amazing. That's the hero's journey, and you'll see it everywhere in movies. I want you to use this as a tool for you. And it's a great way of reframing things that happen in your life. Again, a mountain of debt. You go down into the world, you battle those debt demons, and you come back, right? Problems with your mom, says you're not going to have babies, right? You go through this, you deal with this, maybe you have babies, maybe you just get to the next plane where you're like, you know what, I'm okay with it, and you come back to the world. This is a great way of reframing quote-unquote bad things that happen to you as part of your hero's journey. It's absolutely amazing. And here is one of my guests here on London Real. His name is Simon Sinek. He's extremely famous. He has a concept, a TED Talk called Start With Why. And this is Simon telling you his own hero's journey. And knowing Simon, I'm sure he went through this before he created this story. It's that good. Check him out.
I remember going back to the office just thinking, what value am I providing here? Like this industry and my job are ridiculously stupid, And so I already had an eye on sort of doing something else, and I had an entrepreneurial spirit. And I considered myself more of a marketer than an advertiser anyway. And so I quit and started my own business with a partner and went to do something that I thought was in my vision, not theirs. And it went really well for 3 years. I mean, when I say well, meaning we survived. It's never like that, It was more like that, but we did okay. There's over 90% of all small businesses fail in the first 3 years, and we made it.
You didn't, right?
And we didn't. So I mean, that's like that. We joined a very elite club, But year 4 was very different for me. I had already bought out my partner, and I completely lost my passion for what I was doing, and I didn't know why. And people say stupid things to you like, follow your passion. You're like, I'm doing the same thing and I don't love it anymore. Like, do what you love. You're like, same thing, So I was confused as to what it was. Plus I was embarrassed because superficially my life was pretty good. I'd made a decent living. We had amazing clients. Like we had blue chip clients that we had no business having at our little company. We did great work, well respected by our clients, and yet I didn't feel it. And so I was very embarrassed by the fact that I'm unhappy, it's like everything looks just fine, So I didn't talk about it. And I would say that all of my energy, instead of going into building my business, all of my energy went into pretending that I was happier, more successful, and more in control than I actually felt, which is a pretty dark space.
Yeah. But you're the leader of that organization, so you have to put that.
And so you
face.
put on this air that you got everything under control, and your family asks you how you are, and everything's under control. And I would go to business conferences to learn how to build my business, and that actually made me feel worse because I'd have all these people standing on the stage telling us how we should build our businesses, and all I could hear was everything I was doing wrong, as opposed to what I should be doing. And so it actually made me feel even more depressed. And it wasn't until a good friend came to me, concerned about me. She saw that there was something different, and she was worried for me. And I remember the conversation. She was very nervous, sort of coming to me, but like, you know, trying to approach, basically challenging you, like your life is not as you claim it is. And it really allowed me to admit that I was unhappy. And that gave me the courage to find a solution. The fact that I had a friend in my corner who was there that I could cry to and say, I don't know if I can do this, gave me courage to find a solution. And I was very lucky. There was a confluence of events that happened around the same time. Long story short, I was able to discover that this natural occurring pattern, based on the biology of human decision making, that every single organization on the planet exists on the same three levels: what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. Everybody knows what they do. I knew what I did. Some people know how they do it. I could tell you what made me different or special or stand out from my competitors, but I couldn't tell you why. And so I realized, until I was able to articulate that piece, that my life was out of balance. Everything was out of balance. So I was obsessed with this thing called the why. Figured out how to find my why, restored my passion to levels I'd never experienced before, unbelievable. Did what anybody would do or does when you find something beautiful. You share it with the people you love. And that's what I did. So I shared it with my friends. And my friends started making crazy life changes.
That was an incredible example of the hero's journey, because he's talking about the 9/11 moment, looking inside of him, wondering why he was doing what he was doing. It was just stupid, trying his own agency, and then realizing it all started with why, and then bringing that elixir back to everybody in the normal world. An amazing example. So do me a favor and type yes right now if you think hero's journey can be used to magnify your storytelling. Type no if you think it can't. I want to get a good feel here. And next, I want to push you to now create your own hero's journey. And it can be done. So let's talk about you, because I want you right now to describe the lowest and the highest moment of your hero's journey. So we just had a story there where we talked about someone going into debt, right? So you were in the normal world before you had debt. You went down here, and now you're fighting with all of this massive debt, and it's getting you in and sucking you in deeper. Now I want you to use that as the lowest point and type that in. And I want you to then tell me the highest point. And even if it doesn't exist yet, this is the most important point. So you came back, you faced that demon, you wrangled it, and now you actually have money in the bank. You have an entirely new relationship with money. Let's go to the next thing. Went down into the cryptocurrency depths, you fought back, but then you found the trading strategy to come back and get yourself of the net worth, or to stop trading crypto and go into equities or something like that. Again, you can always do this. So I want you to tell me the lowest moment and the highest moment of your hero's journey. And again, accentuate them, make them big. And if the story doesn't exist, write it now. If your mom said you can't have children, tell me how that story ends, and start reframing your life not as a series of failures, but as a series of challenges that you overcome and become better. I'm using this technique right now in Iron Minds. I'm here in London. John Joseph challenges me. I meet the mentor. I refuse the call. I go to New York City. I go down into my dark depths of overdose in New York City. I come back, I go to the Ironman race in Chattanooga, I finish the race, and I come back with this new knowledge about myself. This structure works, and I want you to type in right now and tell me your lowest moment and your highest. This is how we start the hero's journey structure. And I want, in the meantime, to share with you a story from Inga. She's one of my graduates, and she came on the Speak to Inspire course because she wanted to make an impact on the environment, and that's what she wanted to talk about. But when I explained to her this hero's journey concept, she looked at her own life, and she looked at some really painful things that happened in her past, and as opposed to those being failures, same with me in Iron Minds, she saw that they were actually some of her greatest successes, and she reframed that into taking that information back to the normal world. Here's Inga. I love Inga. She's an amazing woman. I'm so proud of her for coming out with this, and here is her story.
Pretty much all my life I was escaping in different kind of addictions, you know, from most heavy ones to maybe more light ones, but was still the same, you know. I was not connected to myself. I was not aware of what was going on inside of me, that I was in fact running away from myself. And when you asked me to find, to recognize, and to talk about the things that really matter, that was the biggest challenge to me. The biggest challenge to be vulnerable, because I realized that biggest part of my life I was wearing a mask of very powerful girl who no one can really, you know, touch with anything, you know, to make me emotional, to make me vulnerable, because I was hiding that thing so deep inside of me. So I'm really, the biggest challenge was for me to get those things out, and I'm really amazed how you succeeded in doing this, because that was not my intention to come on London Real and talk about myself, you know. I was hiding behind the mask. I wanted to talk about environmental impact of the production, and, you know, I would like to talk about all those things that, you know, that not really matter for me, because that's not where it starts. If you want to change the world, you have to change yourself. And the realization of that, confrontation with myself, reflection of myself, that was the most difficult part. Because I was trying many times to change my life, but I was concentrated on changing decorations instead of my inner self, you know. Buy new clothes, get a new boyfriend, a new house, new country, wherever it takes, but not myself. So that was the biggest challenge, to confront myself, to put a mirror in front of myself and reflect.
Powerful, Inga. Inga's story is an incredible example of the hero's journey, and again, an antagonist, which was the way she felt about herself and these old trapped repressive memories. And she came here to learn how to be a better speaker from me, and we actually got her there, but the hero's journey reframed the whole way she looked at her life. So folks, this isn't just about communication and persuasion and getting more clients and having better relationships. It's even about reframing the story you tell yourself to make yourself more confident and live a better life. I mean, these tools are really incredible. And so I want you to think now about your own hero's journey. And again, I've just recently done this with myself on the movie Iron Mind, and it's again taking me to the next level. So tell me your hero's journey. I want you to describe your lowest moment and your highest moment. If you can really show those to me, I think we have your hero's journey. And Julian, you know, this is getting to be an advanced technique here, but as you know with Inga, I mean, she had me crying in that conversation. It can be a really powerful tool for your own life, because we're all kind of the stories we tell ourselves. What are people saying here? Because I kind of got half of the hero's journey from some of these people before. It seemed like there wasn't a comeback. So what are people saying?
People starting to craft their story a lot more now. So let's go with Venkat. He says, the lowest point was I was morbidly obese. The highest point was losing 50 kilograms. Now I am back in life with a lifestyle, a change of eating, and I'm healthy.
Wow, that's perfect. Perfect, right? And if you craft each part of that 12 structure hero's journey, and you again magnify the emotions, right? Really show me what it was like to be the heaviest you were. Give me details. Talk to me about a day in the life, and really take me there. And then take me to that highest of highs. I mean, 50 kgs, my gosh, that's amazing. That's a TED Talk right there. That will move people. That can be watched by hundreds of thousands of people, which means you can do what you want with that. Start a business, write a book, do what you want to do. So I love that. Who else?
Frank Dudek, who's actually on our course that's going to be starting later this month.
Frank, you pulled the trigger. I love it.
Frank says, my second heart attack. I died, then my wife lifted me up, cleared my airway, and revived me.
Wow. Okay, wow. All right. So that was so the second heart attack was the low, and then she revived you. So I think we could go deeper on this, Frank. I think there's a little bit more of an interesting story here, because what got you to that heart attack, the lifestyle choices, the this and the that, and then after that happened, how you had to maybe build yourself back up to where you are today, to where you're pulling the trigger, and for the next 6 weeks, we're going to make you a great speaker. So I like it. I think we can go bigger. We can magnify those emotions. Take me to that operating room, or take me to that theater where she found you on the home, and you were there, passed out. And I think you're really going to have a great connection here. So good stuff.
Tom says his lowest point was when the cancer spread and he had to have surgery. He lost the use of his arm and shoulder. 2 years later, he took the Live Strong program and regained the use of his arm and shoulder and his chest. And then he went on to say that his doctor now thinks that his cancer will not come back, and that he is only seeing him once a year.
Wow.
Transformation.
That's a great story. Wow. See, I mean, That's an amazing story, you know? And again, look how you're reframing that. A lot of people, truth is, Julian, a lot of people tell the first half of their story, you know? And that's called the victim mentality. And we don't really play that here at London Real or inside the Academy. And so this exercise alone, a lot of you have the first half of the story, right? The people in debt, the people reacting to the way their mother talked to them. Tell the second half. Make it up if you don't have to. But I mean, look at this gentleman here, surviving through cancer. I mean, losing the use of an arm. That's enough to make people give up forever, but he didn't. This is the start of a TED Talk. This is the start of a book. This is the start of a movement. This is the start of a business. This is what I'm talking about, folks. Emotional storytelling, and you just did it in 40 minutes. Imagine if you could take the time, take 6 weeks, craft this. I mean, this is a TED Talk that could go viral, but you're willing to get emotional. You're willing to get vulnerable. You've got the blueprint, the map. This is how great stories happen. So I love it. Any more? Are you?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
have one more here with Lisa, whose antagonist earlier was her mother.
Yes, I remember Lisa, of course.
She says, I persevered despite my mother's advice, as this was my dream and I realized it was happening for me. I did get pregnant again finally with twins, but she lost the twin, nearly lost the other one, which later became her daughter. I went on to counsel women medically for infertility to help them persevere through the hell that this can bring to their lives.
Wow, is this real story? Wow, that's real talk. So I love this story. I think we need to work on this story together, I hope, because I think we need to make sure that we craft each nuanced piece and we make sure that we tell this hero's journey in a distinct way. I don't want to put too much mayhem and too much craziness, but I want to make sure we see these pieces because this is a very serious story, but I want you to win at the end. I want you to have that victory at the end. I want you to bring back that elixir to your normal life that other people can learn from. And I think that's really, really important. So again, amazing examples of stories. All right, look, I want to finish up here and first of all say, incredible stuff tonight. I'm so pleased with the amount of knowledge that you got and how fast a lot of you have actually come into the art of storytelling. And imagine if you could really embrace this and not have this be a weekend warrior type of thing, something you do just one night. Imagine if you could really work on this for 42 days with a real blueprint, the ABCDs of how to do this. Imagine if you were held accountable and you could post video of yourself and get up in front of live people and really craft this story and tell it in a TED environment, in a situation with clients or with family or friends. Think about the impact you could have. I mean, literally change the lives of millions of people like we've done here at London Real. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm actually demanding that you do that with your life. You know, life all comes down to a few moments. I think we're all here for a reason. I think we attract certain energies. And I believe you have great ideas and you have great visions, but if they stay in your head or if they stay on this masterclass chat, they die forever. And perhaps you're tired of that happening. Perhaps you're tired of nothing happening in your life, of living in the victim story, of no one be able to get knowledge from your hard times. Maybe you're tired of being ignored when you try to tell these stories. Maybe you're just tired of not having success at work, not getting promoted, not getting new clients because you can't communicate. Maybe you want to get on the TED stage and really roar and talk about this stuff. Maybe you're just tired of missing opportunities because you can't communicate with these emotive stories. Or maybe you tried this before and just quit because you didn't have the right mentorship, didn't have accountability, or didn't really have the course structure, no one teaching you exactly what to focus on. Or maybe you just didn't have the right blueprint. So you're asking yourself, Brian, how can I do this? I love what you're saying. I can see the power of it. I've seen what you've done with London Real. 7 years, we've reached 100 million people on this earth through storytelling. That's basically what we do. We tell stories and we do it in an amazing way. We have amazing people that do that. Well, there's 3 ways that you can learn how to do this and really 10x your life. 1, you can do it on your own. You can watch some videos on YouTube, you can watch my master classes, and you can just hope that you'll get uncomfortable and take action and stand up and do all of those scary and anxious things. That's one way to do it. Second, you could join a local speaking group like Toastmasters and get on stage and try to articulate your vision. The only problem there is that sometimes you can just choose to not show up. There's not always a curriculum, and it's just easy to avoid. Or you could learn from the very best in the business. You could surround yourself with experts, motivated people. You could stay accountable. You could push through procrastination, and you could have a blueprint knowing exactly what to do to take action to get you on stage in 6 weeks to put your own speech with emotions that get people to take action. And that's why I want to tell you about something incredible, and that is Speak to Inspire. And this is our online accountability course. You are going to learn how to speak to inspire and impact people like the greatest guests on London Real. I'm going to teach you how to communicate with confidence, how to be more persuasive, and how to learn to inspire anyone. Again, this is personal mentoring from me, premium instructional videos, access to a community of 100 people from around the world that are going to go through this program in real time, just like you. I do this course once per year. Let me repeat that. I will not do this for another year. I will be here to personally mentor you. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to push you. I'm going to give you advice to where you have an incredible, short, concise speech at the end that gets people to take action. This is the only online accountability course in the world for becoming an inspirational speaker. It's not just about learning. It's not just a bunch of videos that you can watch on your own time. I demand that you take action every single week. I'm live on the calls. There's homework, there's deliverabilities, there's videos that you upload, and I make sure that you get across the goal line, even kicking and screaming if necessary. And the way we do it is this. We have 3 pillars, and that is strategy, community, and accountability. And this is why over 3,000 students that have joined my academy, 96% of them have graduated. Let me say that again, 96% have graduated. The average for people, and maybe this is one of you, who have bought an online course is a 5% completion rate. 5 out of 100 actually complete it. Same with books. People that buy books, 5 out of 100 finish the book. I'm talking about 96% of the people completing it because we are accountable and we make you do the things you don't want to do to become a great speaker that can change the world. And the first part starts with Module 1, of course. Here we'll discover your inspirational message. And inside this, you will understand the 5 London Real commandments of great speaking. You will learn my personal process for eliminating nervousness completely, and you will learn how to overcome your fears to absolutely crush it on stage. This is the beginning of getting you started to feeling comfortable to communicate. But we're just getting warmed up because next comes Module 2. This is crafting your message for maximum impact. Here, I'm going to teach you proven methods for crafting your ideas into well-structured speeches. I'm going to teach you the #1 best way to structure your talk to be like the most influential speakers in the world. And finally, I'm going to show you how to use what I call bulletproof action to make people do what you want without actually forcing them. So now it's Module 3. We're getting warmed up. We're meeting twice a week on video calls. You're uploading video. You got this incredible group of people in the private Facebook group when we go into Module 3. This is charismatic storytelling techniques. Here, I'm going to teach you how to be authentic from a place that feels easy and natural. I'm going to teach you about the power of using a hero's journey to amplify the effects of your stories and how to deliver captivating stories that draw people's attention instantly. Folks, you are more confident than ever. You're walking around taller. Even your friends and family are like, something's different about you. Did you lose weight? Did you change your hair? Because you just seem better. At work, you're probably landing more clients. People are paying attention to you in meetings. But we are just getting warmed up because I've got Module 4. Here, you bulletproof your credibility. And I'm going to show you how to uncover the juicy hidden facts about your topic that completely stun your listeners. Next, I'm going to teach you what I call the instant inspire moment. And finally, I'm going to show you an effective method for using statistics, quotes, and testimonials from other experts to prove your point. And now we've got momentum, folks. You're feeling great in front of the camera. You're thinking, how far can I take this? Now we have Module 5. This is the secrets to authentic delivery on stage. This is where you start using your body and your presence.
Here, you'll learn how to shape a magnetic voice to captivate your audience and how to master your body language to be stage ready under the spotlight. Module 6, Persuasion Frameworks to Influence the Masses. Here, you'll learn Aristotle's world-famous persuasion framework. Next, how to encourage people to take action using Monroe's motivated sequence. And finally, how to crush a live event. Audience tactics to maximize the energy in the room. Module 7, Make Them Laugh, Comedy Fundamentals. Here you'll learn 3 bulletproof comedy fundamentals: the rule of 3, the power of misdirection, and the law of opposites. Module 8, Crush Your Final Speech. Here we'll review everything from the entire course to prepare for your final presentation. Next, I'll show you how to present online with impact. And finally, we'll create your action plan for the next 12 months.
I am going to give you lifetime access to this and to workbooks associated with every single module. There are 3 videos with each module. Again, you get lifetime access to those. This is an incredible amount of strategy, but I'm not done. Next, I want to talk about community. This is what really makes us different. And here, you will not be alone on your journey on this entire course. You will be going through this course through a group of 100 students from around the world, all together as a unit, like a Navy SEAL team. Here, you're going to meet people that are going to become like family, friends, collaborators. They'll be business partners, maybe even investors in your future. I always tell people that the network is actually worth the price of this course because you're all going to be interacting in this private Facebook group. And of course, at the end of the course, you can come to London for an optional graduation ceremony. And this is what it looks like. Folks all around the world that are willing to pay the price to action to invest in themselves and their future. You've never been around a more incredible peer group than this. They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I'm going to give you 100 plus me. You're going to become incredible. But I'm not done. And this is the hidden ingredient, folks. It's accountability. Nobody does accountability like we do inside of London Real. And it's the most important part of this course because I make sure you do the work. I've got live calls twice a week. I've got an accountability document where everyone can see the work that is due every single week. Live videos, structured speeches. If you don't do the work, I will call you out. Your classmates will call you out. And ultimately, I'm going to get you to do things you never dreamed possible. We're going to power through resistance, power through procrastination. That's why I get the results, because you are held accountable in what I like to call the triple tier accountability. And this is live calls, this incredible accountability doc that holds you responsible for the work, and finally, 24/7 support from me and my team. And the whole timeline breaks down like this. We have live keynote calls on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock London time. I go live just like this, actually on the Zoom software, which I might show you later. We interact, we talk, I explain the module, you do the assignments. Sunday, 7 o'clock, we have a workshop call where we talk about the work that you've done. I give you pointers and I give you criticism to get you better. Who else can deliver that? Nobody. That's why this is one of the most incredible opportunities you've ever seen. I'm going to personally mentor you. We've got 100 students that are going to go through this boot camp. We're all going to go through it together. It's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. But the things you're going to do is going to blow your mind. You're never going to feel so good about yourself. Again, friends and family are going to comment. People at work, you're going to land new clients, and you might even get on the TED stage. All of this is going to happen if you pull the trigger. But before I say that, I want to give you 3 bonuses if you decide to join us tonight. Bonus number 1 is my inspirational speaker lifestyle blueprint. And here, inside here, you are going to learn how to build a business as a highly paid speaker. I'm going to teach you expert level strategies to create an amazing speaker lifestyle. And then I'm going to show you how to find better speaking gigs that pay you big money. That's yours tonight if you join us. Bonus number 1. But I've got another. Bonus number 2 is your next big promotion. How many of us always get nervous when it comes to ask for more money? I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to teach you different strategies for using professional speaking skills to influence people in your workspace. I'm going to show you how to build a compelling case to why you deserve a better opportunity. And finally, I'm going to teach you the key to speaking with persuasion while coming from a place that's authentic. But there's one more, and that's bonus number 3. I'm going to teach you to win more clients and make more money. Inside this bonus module, I'm going to teach you how to use persuasive speaking skills to sway investors and well-paying clients to your business. I'm going to show you a framework to sell effectively from any platform to get what you want. And finally, I'm going to teach you advanced selling methods to supercharge your influence. But there's a bit more, because I have a pay in full bonus, actually 2 of them. If you pay in full tonight, I'm giving you 2 very, very special things. The first is Dan Pena live at the Ritz. This is an incredible 2-day event that I held with the $50 billion man. We had 30 high-level entrepreneurs that flew in from around the world, including a billionaire in the room. And I've got 6 hours of incredible content of Dan Pena blasting, showing you massive communication skills. This is going to blow your mind. And the second bonus is a live video kickoff call with me, where I'm going to mentor you personally on your communication skills. This is absolutely amazing. 2 pay in full bonuses that are yours tonight. So the total value of what you get is this. First, hours of on-demand video training. Next, you get bonus number 1, the inspirational speaker lifestyle blueprint. Next, you get bonus number 2, your next big promotion. Bonus number 3, win more clients, make more money. Of course, if you pay in full, you get Dan Pena live at the Ritz. You get the live video kickoff call with me. Of course, you get hours of live video calls. You get access to the Speak to Inspire private Facebook group. You get 24/7 email support for 6 weeks from me and my team, and you get lifetime access to the course and the workbooks. This is a total value of $25,000, $656. All of this can be yours tonight if you pull the trigger, believe in yourself, join my team for the next 6 weeks. All of this can be yours. It's going to change your life
for the low price of $2,997.
This is a drop in the bucket for the change and the wealth that this is going to bring you. Think about the wealth you're going to gain over time if you can master these skills, master the art of storytelling, landing new clients, asking for a raise. What I'm going to give you is going to be absolutely incredible. Again, I also have a payment plan,
which is 6 payments of $597.
Of course, I also have the premium option, which means after the course is over, you will come to London and sit in this studio with me. You will smell the leather in the same chair that Dan Pena and Ido Portal and Dorian Yates sat, and you can have your own interview on London Real that you can use as a business asset, that you can make your talk go viral. And finally, I've got 2 spaces for my inner circle group, and this is a small group I don't like to talk about very much, and it's for high-level entrepreneurs that are building 7 and even 8-figure businesses. It's 6 months of personal mentoring with me and access to my inner circle group after the course is over. When most students, they don't always have the best habits. That's why this is very important for you if you want to be part of this group and take your learning to the next level. So what happens next? Well, you pull the trigger. You decide that enough is enough. You're tired of being the one that gets shy at parties when you have to give a speech, that doesn't want to be there when they go to the wedding and they have to stand up and do a toast. You're tired of being the one that doesn't get the promotion at work, that people cut off, that people don't want to listen to. You're tired of being uncomfortable in social situations. You're tired of your family walking all over you like a doormat because you can't communicate. Well, this is for you. You follow the link, you click on it, you pull out that plastic, you get those 16 digits in, and you pull the trigger and you log into this course. You get the email, you go in the private Facebook group, and your life changes right now. Not tomorrow, not in 10 minutes, it changes right now. You become part of what I like to call La Familia. Us here at London Real Academy, we are here for life, to change your game. There's nothing like this anywhere out online. I do this once a year. I'm looking for a small group of people that are committed to me, that will pay the price to action and put skin in the game and money on the line. If I see that, I'm willing to invest my time in you. It's my most valuable commodity. You know, I used to give this course for free. What did I find happened? Nobody followed through. So I started charging money, and I saw people that really wanted to make a sacrifice. And those are the people that finished the course because they had skin in the game. So click on the link, pay the price to action, whether it's the full price, the premium, or even the monthly plan. Show me that you're willing to put something down, and I'm willing to give you all of my time. To be honest, folks, I don't need your money. What I need is your success story. I'm in this for the next 100 years. I want to create greatness. I want to create the next CEO, the next billionaire, the next TED Talk that goes viral, the next New York Times best-selling author, and that's why I'm here. And so if you join us right now, this is what you will create. You are going to build new levels of confidence. You're going to understand how to influence anyone. You're going to deliver your ideas with authenticity, and you're going to create a world-class speech. And that's what I'm talking about, folks. I'm talking about doing something to change the game, but it all starts with you pulling the trigger. Frank pulled the trigger. He's already on this course. He stopped listening to the excuses. Right now, I'm hearing all of them in the back of your head. I don't have the time right now. It's a bad time of year. I don't have any money. I'm a little worried. I don't have enough resources. I'm really busy right now. We've all heard these excuses before. Maybe your fear of success. Maybe you have a fear of failure. But the truth is, life all comes down to a few moments. Trust me. Trust the process. Trust London Real. Become the best version of yourself. But you've got to take the action. And one of my old instructors in mixed martial arts, his name is Bosroot, and he said, Brian, if you don't shoot, you always miss. And I think it was Albert Einstein that said, he said, if you repeat the same behavior, how can you ever expect a different result? And a lot of you are doing the same patterns. And you're saying, Brian, I can't afford this right now. I'm thinking, well, if you don't think outside the box, you're never going to get to the next level. And so now I'd love to answer any questions. I'm going to go to Julian here and see if people have questions about the course, the timing. But you know, Julian, this all comes down to a few moments. And you know, people here right now with me, their life is going to go one direction or the other right now. They could choose to pull the trigger and invest really a tiny amount of assets and funds and capital and go with us on this journey. Prove to me that I'm willing to invest 12 hours of my time into this course, all of the mentoring, or they could continue doing what they're doing, which got them to this level. Playing small, being in fear, and just doing the same things and saying, no, I'll do it next year. But we know how that story ends. It goes to the year, and then you're on your deathbed saying, why didn't I pull the trigger? I want to save you from that tonight. So if you're not pulling the trigger now, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, wow, I must have some type of sabotage to myself, or a fear of success, or a fear of failure. I don't want you to be that person. I'm the person that can help you through that. This course could change your life. Look at Inga. Look at Vikram. Look at Jamie. This course actually changed their life. Forget about the speech. It taught them that they have confidence, that they can no longer be a victim. And that's what happens inside our academy. You come for a speaking course, and you learn to be a better person that connects more with the world. So that's really what it's all about. Are there any questions here? I usually have a few questions that people ask.
Yeah, we've got another one here. Can I use this first, though,
what
Mr.
is
Rose?
that thing in your hand, and what is this piece of bronze behind me, Mr.
This is
Bales?
the baton, and that is the gong.
The gong. What's happening here?
We're going to hit it.
What does the gong signify here, Mr. Bales?
The gong signifies someone, in this case, Charles from Canada, pulling the trigger.
Charles from Canada pulled the trigger. Charles is on this broadcast with hundreds of people, right? But Charles is the one person who decided, I don't want to be a tourist anymore. What does a tourist do? Well, they come to this incredible new environment. They look around, they take pictures at all these amazing people doing amazing things, and they go home back to their normal life and never do anything. Charles, you pulled the trigger. So many people here are sitting there. They're like, I don't know, Brian. I've got to research it some more. I've got to procrastinate some more. I've got to watch another video. I got to read another email. The truth is this. If you're here with me live on this webinar, you've watched my videos. You've listened to my talks. You've read the emails. You know you need to do this. So take a big, deep breath. Pull up those big boy pants and those big girl pants. Type in those numbers. I guarantee this will be one of the greatest decisions of your life. Richard, I can't wait to take your life to the next level. And we're going to be gonging all you people live here tonight that pulled the trigger. For me, it's just one person out there that I know just decided to change their life, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to go to a couple frequently asked questions, and then I want to come back. If you've got any question about this course, put it in now. But the truth is, what you need to do right now is don't research this to death. If you think there's even a 1 in 100 chance of this changing your life, pull the trigger. Call your mom, call your dad, call a friend, borrow a PayPal account. I had someone on here on one of my live calls the other day that lent the money to someone else on the call they had just met, and they pulled the trigger. Make it happen. Show me that you want it, and I will invest all of my time in you. And I always get a few common questions, and I like to do that right now. The biggest one I get, and this always is crazy to me, is someone says, Brian, I don't have time. And again, I've taught over 3,000 people all sorts of different courses inside London Real Academy. And all of them require this, 2 to 4 hours per week. It's about 20 minutes a day is what I require from you. And basically that means turn off Facebook, that's all, or turn off Instagram and put the time in on this course. What really that means is, Brian, I'm in fear, because it's not about the time. It's about the procrastination, the anxiety, and the fear. But with me, I'm going to get you to go straight into it. I'm going to get you to do a live video into the private Facebook group, and you're going to meet people, and you're going to get over that barrier. Next week, we're going to do something else. For 42 days in a row, I'm going to get you out of your comfort zone. The truth is that actually doesn't take time. Time is an excuse your subconscious tells you to keep you out of something unknown. Right now, you're feeling anxious. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I prefer being safe and being playing small and having a really an unexciting life and feeling kind of stupid about myself, because the monkey brain protects you. I'm asking you to get out of your comfort zone. Time is not your problem. The next question I get is this worth the investment? The truth is this is an investment in your future. When I was 17 years old, I got accepted to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I was driving around a Ford Mustang I had paid $1,200 for. It had rust, it had different colors on the panels, but I didn't care. I wanted to change my life. And I got the bill for the first year, and it was $14,500. I didn't even have $500 in my bank account. And at that point, I could have said what you're saying now is, in Brian, I don't have the money. But I looked at it and said, wait a second. This isn't a cost. This is an investment in my future. Now, at the time, I didn't realize this investment would go 100x, 1,000x. I didn't know it would turn literally into millions of dollars by putting me in a peer group, by giving me a great institution I could talk about, but it was an investment that I got 1,000% return on. So think about this. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars would you make if you had a TED Talk, if you got the promotion, if you got the next client? Think about this as an investment, like buying a stock or buying a bond that you hold over 20 years. So yes, it's easily worth this. This course is worth $25,000. This is a bargain basement price. The third question I get all the time is, Brian, I don't live in London, so I can't take this course. And I'm always like, wow, I obviously wasn't very clear. This is an online accountability course. We have people from 52 different countries that have already joined this course, all around the world in 14 different time zones. Our strength is our diversity. I actually don't want you in London. I want you to come to London for graduation. I want this to be a special trip. I want you to meet people from all around the world that are going to take you to the next level. So no, you don't have to be here, and I don't even want you here. I want you somewhere in the world with an internet connection, and then you can have success. And finally, people say, Brian, why would anyone care what I think? And this is why I have to say you must be crazy. Listen to the stories we heard tonight. Cancer survivors, people that couldn't have kids because of what their mother said and came back. People that lost all their money in cryptocurrencies. These are great stories. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a TED Talk in them. This could literally increase your net worth by millions of dollars if you get out of your comfort zone. Tell the story. The guests on London Real aren't any different than you. All they did was pull the trigger. They went into the fear. They found the right mentor, who you found right now, and they went to the next level. And that's what I'm giving you, an opportunity right now to change your game. So again, click on the link, take a deep breath, pull out the plastic, bang in the 16 numbers, you're in. You've already changed your life. Some people report a transformation feeling right after they hit enter because they know they're on a journey to improve their life, 10x, 100x. And that's what we get all the time. But these are the questions I get asked all the time. Here is a little snapshot as to what graduation is like in London. Again, this is an optional ceremony. You can come to London. We host a dinner that's on us. We host a speaking event here at the world headquarters. You can meet people that you're going to be connected with the rest of your life. I always say that the network alone is worth the price. It really is. These people are going to inspire you, and they're a peer group that are unlike anything else in your life. And here's a little bit more about what that weekend is like.
Like I was a mess, falling apart. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I pulled the trigger and signed up. I had to.
This course has just changed everything for me.
Who knows what life will look like in a year from now for each of us.
All right, London Reelers, welcome to London. Let me hear some roar here. Tonight, I'm pumped. We got the Midnight Run folks with us. We got glow sticks, we got music.
This is the first time we've ever seen each other in 3D. The first live call that I saw all these people, it was so inspiring.
I loved being able to connect with people all over the world.
They're my family. They have become my family. We're all extensions of each other.
Everybody's helping each other. Everybody's holding each other accountable. You can do so much more than you ever thought.
Just now, like, my team asked me, how do you feel? And I said, I feel home. This is home for me.
What's beautiful about this process is if I'd had a way out, I'd have got out. But I couldn't let that lot down. I couldn't let my team down.
Do not stop, because this is just the beginning right now.
Please stay vulnerable. When you hit rock bottom, reach out. You have all the support you need. Thank you.
So I just want you to congratulate yourselves for all the hard work you put in, for making it to London, for connecting with everyone here.
Have you heard the expression that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? If you think about it, it's really true. And I gotta ask you an honest question right now, because you just saw what graduation is like. This is a group of individuals who want to be better versions of themselves. Not only that, they've put skin in the game. They've taken out and put money down and invested in themselves, and that means they'll put in the work. These people want to be better communicators. They want to build businesses. They want to make change in the world. What if you could hang out with 100 of those people and me on a regular basis? It would influence your life. Who are you hanging out with now? Really, look at your friends and your family. I might argue you're hanging out with some losers, some negative people. People are saying, oh, you're not going to spend money on the internet again. Oh, you know what happens when you go to speak in front of people, you get nervous. A TED Talk? No, that's for other people, not you. These people don't mean bad, but they just get a little anxious when you try to be a better version of yourself. It's just natural. They don't mean bad things. The same thing happened to me when I started London Real. My friends and family wouldn't even like the Facebook page. It's because they get anxious when you change because you reflect back to them that they are being stagnant. I'm offering you a peer group that will literally change your game. Inspiration, mentorship, and a blueprint. And that's exactly what we're doing in here. So I want to go and get a few more questions and find out what people are saying here. You know, it's hard to imagine what it's like to be in the group until you're there. But once people join this Facebook group, they're like, oh my gosh, I've never felt such amazing energy. I've never been around people that don't criticize me. I forget how much negative energy is in the world. You know, when people, even their friends and their mom and their brothers and their sisters are just always taking little digs, sometimes subtly, but it builds up to where you're kind of like, you're like, oh, maybe I can't do it. It's the opposite in London Real. Not only do we want you to be a great speaker and communicator, we expect you to do, and that's what's different about our course.
Before we crack into the questions, how about another gong?
Let's do this, Bales. Come on.
This is a special one. This is Dr. Krista Alongi. You may remember him. He joined the Business Accelerator back in April.
Yeah.
He's now a tribe member, and he's just pulled the trigger on Speak to Inspire.
Doctor, I love having you in here. Welcome. Gong for you. Bam. I love that sound. It means like 1 of the 7 billion people out there in the world have just said, you know what? I'm pulling the trigger today. And again, I was asked myself, why do I use this expression, pulling the trigger? Like, what does that really mean? And if you think about it, you know, we all have this gun and it's loaded with this really, really powerful bullet. We have all this amazing potential and energy inside of us. And we're all sitting there with our finger on here, right? And we're just a little scared about how it's going to explode, right? We don't know if it's going to break someone or where the bullet's going to go. And so a lot of us walk around most of our life like this. We just don't pull it because we're scared of the energy, but we all have something inside of us. And so I'm always telling people, you know what? You're going to die soon. We're all going to be a bunch of dust. This is the time to make it happen, but you got to move that finger like that. You just got to pull that little bit of trigger and watch how all of this greatness comes out inside you. You're hanging out with amazing people like me, like Mr. Bales, like all these people, and you'll never recognize who you are. You're going to become this great version of yourself. But I know it's hard. So I know people are right on the edge and they're dealing with this self-doubt, the stories they tell themselves, anxieties. But I'm telling you, now is the time. Trust London Real. We've been here for 7 years. We're not going anywhere. Trust the process. 3,000 graduates. Don't research it to death. That's what Dan Pena once told me. He said, research is procrastination in disguise. Don't research this anymore. If you're here and you're listening to me, you belong with us. Get the payment plan, lock it in. I don't need your money, but what I need is your attention and I need your focus. I need your commitment. The money shows me that. Again, pay price to action. We tried doing this for free and I basically waste my time. Don't make me waste my time. I'll say this on the course. I'm going to be there live with you the whole time. Just show me that you're committed. That's what the payment plan does. That's what the money does. That's all it is. I think money is just energy. You spend it, it gets you to the next level. There's nothing worse than trying to hold on to money or being scarce about it. And again, like I said, repeating the same behavior, expecting a different result. That's insanity. Einstein. Change your game. What else are people saying?
Adam's asking, what time zone is the course run on?
So we do it in London at 7 o'clock because we're busy all day here at London Real, cranking out content, teaching you. At 7 is when we get a break. But actually, we're doing this one at 8:15, right?
This one calls 8:15.
This is 8:15, sorry, 8:15 London time. We do it for an hour. We do it live. So we do that then. We record this call and upload it to the private Facebook group, Access for Life. You can watch it at your leisure. But I'd really like it if you watch it live. So if you're in California, that means 2:15. If you're in France or Spain, that means at 9:15. If you're there, you get me fired up and firing you up. But all the calls are recorded. You have lifetime access to that, the modules, the workbooks, the peer group. It's all there just in case you miss a call.
Another gong?
You gotten trigger happy. Let's go, Bales. Let's do this.
Krista Switzer.
Krista
US.
from the U.S. Krista, thank you for making our Yanks proud. And Krista, you just showed me something that I want to ask the other people here. Why haven't you pulled the trigger? It's right there. The button's right there. I know you got the card there. It's just, why haven't you done it? I'm telling you, it'll be one of the greatest decisions you ever make. You look at those people that you saw tonight in the leather chair talking to me. I literally have hundreds and hundreds of those conversations. Hundreds from people that have taken the course, come to London, sat there, and told me how it's changed their life. I would send you the links, but it's procrastination in disguise. You don't need to know anymore. You've been with me for the last hour and a half. You read my emails. You watched London Real for years. Trust the process. Trust this, we will get you to the next level. And congratulations for her for pulling the trigger. I love it.
Another gong?
Let's do this. I love that sound. Who's that?
That is Mikhail Silic in Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. I love it, Mikhail. Thanks for joining this journey. And again, I love it. Mikhail, I'm guessing English probably might be your second language, but you're still going forward. Again, everyone's got an excuse. Everyone's got a reason. I heard some of it tonight. The debt load, the mother that says this, the English as a second language, the I had cancer, the I lost my money in crypto, blah, blah, blah. I don't accept excuses here at London Real Academy. We don't accept victim mentality. Tell your new story. Let's tell the end of your hero's journey. And guess what I did? I got to the TED stage and I got a 2-book publishing deal and 2.5 million views on my TED Talk. Who am I talking about? Roger Frampton, my recent graduate of the Business Accelerator, who also made $25,000 in 8 weeks. He changed his story. You can do the same right now. Pull the trigger. That's what we do around here. We inspire success. This is a positive peer group that takes you to the next level. And you got a question? Go ahead, hit
Got
me.
a bunch more questions.
Yeah,
Maya says, does the fee include taxation? Because I need to speak to my accountant.
So great question. You know, if you're in the UK and you have like VAT or something like that, we can send you a VAT invoice. But no, it doesn't. If you're international, like you buy from the States, there's no tax because it's an international transfer. So if you need some type of VAT invoice, hit us up and we'll do that for you.
Another question we have. Kevin says, Brian, I'm on the edge, definitely having trust in the product, service, and the business, and got money available for sure. The return is unknown as my business is not yet started and would like to have a chat. He's interested in the Speak to Inspire program, but also interested in the business course. Can we have a chat?
Okay, good. So Kevin, we can definitely have a chat. If you go to the page here, which is londonreal.tv/inspire, where you can actually purchase the course, there's a window in the bottom right-hand corner. You can chat. I'm on there a lot of times, and we have people there manning that all the time. And that's fine. We can chat. The one thing I don't want you to do, and the same with the person that just asked me about taxation, is a lot of times these things are just excuses and it's procrastination. So honestly, Kevin, if you have the money and you're on this call, you should pull the trigger. I mean, you really should. The truth is that high-performance people and entrepreneurs, we make decisions based on imperfect information. I had a CEO of a tech startup who pulled the trigger on a live call yesterday, and he's like, Brian, you know, I got a business, I'm trying to move it forward. And I'm like, let me guess, you're pitching investors, you're pitching employees to give you years of their life to follow your vision, you're pitching to clients. What if this could help you 20%? How much money could that be? It could be hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, or it could mean the difference between you getting $5 million worth of funding or zero. This is the force multiplier. This is more so than a network, a LinkedIn, a mastermind group, an education from MIT, a Harvard business degree, blah, blah, blah. If you can't communicate, Kevin, then you've got nothing. What if I could tell you by Halloween, you could be a 5x or a 7x better communicator? I'm talking about landing clients, investors, getting people to join your team. It's all about communication. You got to pull the trigger on that. This is a no-brainer. I'm telling you, if you don't do this, you're going to blink and it's going to be over. And the worst thing I'm going to do here, Julian, and I hate to be cruel, but I'm going to be cruel, is that I'm going to take the students that take this course and I'm going to live stream their testimonials back into the Speak to Inspire workshop group on Facebook. And you're going to see the person that you could have been. And you're going to be like, oh, it's Halloween already. I could have been actually done and have a speech that would actually get people to take action if I had gone with Brian. And I didn't do it because I had a bunch of excuses. And look at the testimonials of these people that have changed their lives. So Kevin, I'm trying to paint a picture of your future reality if you don't go with us. And again, you saying, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's a tiny amount of money to bet on the future. Entrepreneurs place bets all the time. You're putting your money and your energy into this business venture. You're placing a bet. I'm here to make that bet pay off. But you've got to pull the trigger. You know, I can only get you close to the edge. At some point, you have to take the step forward and start your journey. So that's what I would say to you, Kevin. I've got a few thoughts from students that have graduated. These people pulled the trigger on this course 1 year ago, and this absolutely changed their life. So here are a few of their comments.
How can you change whatever circumstance you're in, whether it's business, whether it's friends, whatever it is? How can you change that if you're not willing to have a voice for yourself? It's a must.
You need someone who sets the schedule out for you, who sets out the assignments, who gives you a kick in the butt if you get lost. Then you need a course like this.
I would tell them to do it. That's where I was. I don't have anything to say. I can't inspire anyone, but that's not true. You do have a voice. You do have a passion, and it needs to get out there. So take that chance, that leap of faith, and do it, and you won't regret it at all. Not at all.
If you're really serious about changing your life, pull the trigger. Like, make it happen. It's not even an investment. It's like bigger than an investment. It's your life. If you're not gonna invest in, like, do something about your life, then the box is waiting.
Just don't think about it. Just pull the trigger, because you transform your life. You can do it by yourself. I was thinking about doing public speaking for, I don't know, 1.5 years. I never did anything. I had the biggest piece of resistance being thrown at me, and you still managed to pull me through. There is nothing in the market like that. Nothing that can do that.
What can be worth more than investing in yourself? It's such a simple question, but we have the most resistance to that. Don't look at your resources, because that is resistance. Questioning, do I have this? Do I have the time? Do I have the money? That is all resistance. The question is, do I want this? Do I want to do this? What kind of person am I going to be when I come out the other side? And if I want to do that, you can decide to get through the resistance. So do you want to play the big game? Because if you do, then you've got to invest and you've got to do it.
Don't think about it. Brian knows what he's doing. The accountability is incredible, and you will get through it, and you will become a better person. For sure.
Julian, I never get tired of listening to these stories, and I get to spend time with these people who just sit in the studio and just watch their transformations. They take their lives to the next level. A lot of times the communication is one thing, but it's like the confidence and the inspiration is a whole nother, and they get really close to these students. That's why I really recommend that you lock in the graduation date when you join this course, because graduation is where everything comes together. People get really close with these peer groups that take them to the next level. And it all happens because of these live calls. And we use something called the Zoom software. It's an interactive video and audio call. And I will literally call you out on the live call and say, where's my story structure? Where is my hero's journey? I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting for the video. And I'll really get you to do the things that you don't want to do. That's what a great mentor does. That's what my mentors do to me. So I'd love to answer a few more questions. Again, now is the time to pull that trigger.
Got a gong coming though.
Yes!
That is Jonathan McGuinness in Switzerland.
Jonathan McGuinness, I was talking to him last night, tribe member from Zurich. Jonathan, I'm really impressed, It's interesting because I talk to people on these live calls all the time, and they're like, yeah, Brian, I'm in. And I'm like, well, you're not in until the gong goes. And some people, they just kind of go away. And some people tonight are asking me questions about taxation and about how do I know it's going to help my business. And those are kind of procrastination questions. And that's the monkey mind and the subconscious thinking, I want to stay in this bubble where I won't be challenged and I won't be in fear. But some people pull the trigger, and Jonathan just did. Jonathan, I'm super excited to have you. He was at a conference, I think the night before, or a meetup in Zurich, and it was a bunch of tech people and startup people presenting. And he said, Brian, if I had these skills, I would blow away all of these people. And I had another guy who wants to get funding from Y Combinator, one of the greatest startup funding organizations in San Francisco. They started Airbnb. And he's like, I got to go out there. He was in Brazil. And he's like, I think it was David. And he said, I got to go out there and pitch them. I said, look, 6 weeks, give me 6 weeks, and your chances of landing this investment is going to go up 5 and 10 times. I can get you that funding. This is the single biggest thing you can do to invest in yourself. More than a CTO, more than a degree from MIT, more than any of this stuff, it's communication. So congratulations, Jonathan, for pulling the trigger. I'd love to hit a few more questions and then maybe bounce to the Zoom call and talk to people a little bit. But again, this is the time to pull that trigger.
We have Neil here who's saying he's tried to pay a few times. I can see that's happening. It's not going through for whatever reason.
Okay.
But he's trying to pay for the full pay. So maybe try.
Okay, cool. Look, Neil, we see your payment going through. A lot of times, sometimes the bank sees the amount and they freak out. Lock your spot in with the payment plan and we can upgrade you tomorrow. We see you going in. What I will do is I'll hold your bonuses for tonight. So anybody who tries to pay tonight, I'll give you all of the free bonuses. Again, those all expire after this call, so we've got you, and again, we can upgrade you tomorrow. Sometimes the bank is just freaked out when they see that price coming in and those kinds of things. Again, we see those transactions. I must say, this course will close out probably in the next 12 to 24 hours, maybe even tonight if this thing keeps gonging, and then it's over. It's going to be a year. Honestly, a year from now, you will not be in a better situation. It will probably be worse, and you won't actually pull the trigger on this course. So now is the time to take action. Lock this spot in. Again, you've got the payment plan to make this happen. Come in, make it happen. Pay full price. I give you Dan Pena live at the Ritz. I give you the kickoff call with me. I give you the 3 bonuses. You go right into the Facebook group. You meet this incredible peer group. It's going to be amazing. I get you module 1. I send you Dan Pena live at the Ritz. You're going to have bad dreams tonight. Again, it's going to be an amazing start, and just visualize yourself one day on that TED stage. Some people don't see themselves in that. There's a little red circle. It's red carpet. It's 10 feet in diameter. And like most people are like, I could never be there. You can be there. I can teach you how to be on that stage in these 6 weeks. We can book that talk in 6 months. I did it with Roger Frampton, who started off as like a training buddy of mine in Belsize Park. I worked with him for 16 months. We got him on the TED stage. He got the 2-book deal publishing, and now he's turned it into a business. This can happen to you. All you have to do is just stop having, you got to just be finally sick of not getting to the next level and just say, you know what, Brian, I'm just going to go with this. I'm going to trust the process and pull the trigger. So, any more questions here?
Maya, who's asking about the tax, says, yes. Can I do a bank transfer?
Bank transfer, yes. We also accept cryptocurrencies as well. We had someone pay with Bitcoin the other night. Again, there's a chat box in the bottom right-hand corner. So again, I would highly stress to lock in that spot with payment plan. But if you want to do the bank transfer, we can refund that, no problem. But look, if you have a PayPal account or a credit card, or can borrow a credit card, or mom has one, get the digits now, text them, and just lock this in. Because if it's gone tomorrow, I'm going to have to say no. And like I said, you know, I've done this for years, and the closest we're ever going to be to working together is right now. Anybody who waits a few months, something always tragic happens. Oh, and then I got fired, and I had a kid, and I lost my leg, and it's always something that means they can't do it. So lock it in now. But yeah, we take bank transfers, Bitcoin. We'll take cattle and sheep if you want. We just want to make it happen. All right?
Got a lot of questions here from Apostle, Dino, Sia, Harry. I noticed we're coming up to 2 hours though. Should we take those on the Zoom call?
Yeah, I think we should. So look, we've got a Zoom call that we're going to bounce everybody to right now, and you could just have a discussion with me. I'm going to go over right now to this screen over here, and I want to really have a conversation with you. And it's this video call. It's called Zoom, and Julian's going to put the link in here. And you're going to go to this interactive call. You're going to see me there, and we're going to be able to talk to each other, and I can answer questions about the course. Of course, I'm going to tell you what I'm telling you now, which is to pull that trigger. This is really where it happens. This separates really the people that have futures and the people that don't. I really believe that right now is a lot like the law of attraction. Something happened to get you on this call. It was something I said. It was something I did. It was something that happened in your life. It brought us together right now. It's a sign that you need to go on this journey with me. And I really believe that if you choose to go this way, it's going to take your life on a whole new way. And I've seen my students do this. They go on to do great things. I've had people that joined my courses and later did a $1.6 million launch. And they said, Brian, it was because of you and London Real. I've had people transform their lives, transform their personal relationships, all because they were on this call right now. And they said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I don't know if it's the right thing, Brian, but I'm not going to spreadsheet it to death, as Dan Pena would say. I'm not going to go and procrastinate and research and watch another video. I'm just going to trust the process. That's what it's about. So we're going to go to this Zoom call. I'm going to go see you over there. Are there any final questions or final thoughts before we go?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. So I will just give my final thoughts. And again, when we're done here, I got just this one video that I can play you. But in the meantime, I highly encourage you to come over. I'm just going to have a really regular, normal chat. I would love to see where you are. I'd love to know what your biggest struggle right now is in your communication. But the truth is this. We've now been together for 2 hours live. You know who I am, right? I can't make this stuff up. You know, I can't beam this in. This is what I'm like on the live calls every week. This is who I am. You know who I am. You've been following London Real for months, maybe for years. You've read the emails. You've watched my videos. You've downloaded the workbooks. You've seen that I know how to communicate, that I know how to inspire and persuade. You've seen my TED Talk. You know I have spent time with 500 of the greatest communicators in the world. You've learned from people like Ido Portal and Dan Pena. And you know that we have a proven online accountability course. We have the strategy, the community, and the accountability to get you across the goal line. And now is the time to take action. I don't want you to be the one that tells your grandkids, oh yeah, Brian Rose from London Real, I was on a call with him one time. And they're like, no, really, Grandpa, Brian Rose? And like, what happened? I didn't join. I don't know, I was busy. I didn't have enough time. And they'd be like, what do you mean, Grandpa? You don't have enough time? And Grandma, you'll just be thinking, wow, I could have transformed my life, and I don't want you to have this. Jeff Bezos, who's currently the richest man in the world, $130 billion, he has something called the regret minimization hypothesis. And he says, look, I don't want to be on my deathbed regretting the decisions I didn't make, the action I didn't make. People always regret the things they didn't do. They rarely regret the time they pulled the trigger. And so that's why Jeff Bezos quit his job in Manhattan at a hedge fund, and he went to Seattle and he started Amazon. And I bet he's thinking that was a pretty good call because he pulled the trigger. But that's what he did. He wasn't different than you and different than me, but he just said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. And to that businessman, Kevin, you have to take a chance. Nothing in life is guaranteed, and that's what makes great entrepreneurs and great leaders, because they make decisions based on imperfect information. If you wait to know if this is the right call, it's too late. You've already been passed by for people that are pulling the trigger and moving forward, and maybe that's why you're struggling as a businessman or as a speaker. You've got to take chances. I try to engineer risks in my life right now. And so that's what this is about, folks. This is about upgrading your peer group, connecting you with 100 individuals from around the world. This is about me being your personal mentor for the next 6 weeks. This is about me guaranteeing results. You're going to be doing incredible things. You're going to be out of your comfort zone for 42 days in a row. But if you do it, you literally won't recognize the person you were before. You're going to be more confident. You're going to stand tall. Everything's going to improve, your relationships, your business, and everything is going to get better. But it all comes down to this. So if you're there right now, looking at the screen, sitting there thinking, I don't know, Brian, if this is the right thing to do. All I'm saying is this. We spent the last 2 hours together. I think we are on a path to spend more time together. Let me help you. Let me help get you across the goal line. But show me that you're willing to pay the price to action, to put skin in the game. If I can see that payment plan come in, I'm willing to invest in you. Let's go on this crazy adventure together. Who was that?
Shahid Yunus here in the UK.
Shahid, you pulled the trigger in the UK. You're inspiring me. You're inspiring all these people. Everyone's sitting there thinking, oh, man, that could have been me.
Full pay, so gets the bonuses.
I'm sending you Dan Pena live at the Ritz, literally within minutes. I'm telling you, this 6 hours of amazing communication, you're going to get so fired up. You're going to want to be the billionaire in the room. I'm also going to book our kickoff video call with me, where I want to talk about the biggest challenge of your communications. We're going to work together over the next 6 weeks. You're going to be blown away by what happens to you, the value we add in this London Real Academy, not to mention the people you're going to meet in this Facebook group. We're going to get you there literally in the next 20 minutes. Upload your introduction video. I'm going to send you module 1. Let's do this. And to the other people out there that didn't pull the trigger, I don't know how it feels to see people jumping in front of you doing things you know you want to do, but it's simple. You're literally one step away. Click the link. Go there. Choose the basic plan. Choose the payment plan. Pull out the card. Put it in. Take a deep breath. Go. I guarantee it'll be the greatest decision you make. So in closing, I just want to play this final piece of video, and it's a little bit more about what we do in Speak to Inspire. Much love to all of you. Whatever you do in life, pull the trigger, get out of your comfort zone. It was awesome spending time with you. I love you guys, and peace.
If you want to become the most inspiring person in the room, touch thousands of lives, and create real change with your words, then this video is for you. Let me ask you something. Do you ever look at charismatic speakers like Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, or Simon Sinek and think to yourself, I want to be just like that? The person who speaks and makes everyone inspired. To motivate an audience to change their life, take action and do what you say. Influential speaking is one of the most powerful skills you can learn. And yes, it is a skill. Even Steve Jobs had a public speaking coach. Unfortunately, few people ever truly develop great speaking. And without it, people will ignore your ideas and forget who you are. Without it, you risk losing out on opportunities to others. You've seen it before. People who aren't as talented as you rising faster through the ranks because they know how to use words and body language to inspire confidence and get things done their way. Your ideas are better, but you struggle to get them across because you're stuck in your head and worried what other people think of you. Or you're so afraid to say the wrong thing that you say nothing at all. It's frustrating to know you could make a difference if only people would listen. But when you've mastered this skill, the whole world opens up to you. It's like having a superpower. You can win clients, close deals, and get your boss to see things your way. And you can even touch thousands of lives with your message. You can become the charismatic person people want to be around because they can feel your passion and confidence when you speak. The ability to capture attention and inspire people to act gives you a massive advantage in life. If you want to truly learn how to speak with influence, then now is your chance. In just a moment, you're going to discover how to become the most important person in the room with our Speak to Inspire mentorship program. These teachings are based on my TED Talk that was watched by over 275,000 people and turned me into a key person of influence. Plus, I reveal 6 years of insider secrets I gathered from interviewing the most inspiring people on the planet. This program shows you how to become a world-class speaker. It teaches you to craft the perfect message, speak with power, and inspire people to act on your ideas. You'll discover how to book paid speaking gigs, earn bigger promotions, and win new clients so you can make more money. And the beauty is, this works even if you're a total introvert, like me. Other courses send you videos and leave you to figure it all out on your own, which is why their average completion rate is only 5%. Speak to Inspire uses our trademarked Real Accountability Protocol, which gives our programs a 96% completion rate. That's nearly 20 times more than the average. Me and my team of coaches will work closely with you, turning you into a world-class speaker. You get twice weekly live video calls, a private Facebook group, and 24-hour response time access to our dedicated community manager to ensure your success in this program. When you can speak well, you no longer feel like people are ignoring you. You no longer struggle to make people believe in you. And you no longer have those days where you wake up feeling horrible, thinking, I'm not good enough. Instead, you feel excited to use your voice to leave a legacy you can be proud of. I know it's true because this is what I went through. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert, not a natural speaker. For the first 40 years of my life, I gave a total of 0 talks. And thank God, I would feel bad for anyone who would have had to listen to me. But when I decided to do a TED Talk, I realized this was my opportunity. I knew it was the most effective way to spread my message. And even if my talk had bombed, I knew the confidence I would gain from presenting in front of a crowd would make it worth it. At that time, speaking on stage was the scariest thing I could imagine. After all, if I could handle that, then things like giving a business presentation or starting a conversation with strangers would be a piece of cake. This was a life skill worth having and rocket fuel for my career. Up until my TED Talk, I had spent thousands on speaking coaches and courses. They were helpful, but not for the big impact I wanted to have. You see, I didn't want my speech to be just interesting, which is what most courses teach. I wanted it to be life-changing. Luckily, I had a secret weapon. Over the years, I've been fortunate enough to have some of the best speakers in the world come on my show. When they speak, people don't just listen, they take action. I would always ask them off camera what their secrets were, and it led to a gold mine of insights. These 400 people taught me incredible lessons on how to be more influential. Armed with these secrets, I crafted a TED Talk I was proud of. It's been the single biggest catalyst for my career. I call it the the most important 16 minutes of my life. Afterwards, top-level people started seeking me out. Big-time entrepreneurs wanted to collaborate on business ventures. And tens of thousands of inspired fans wrote in saying how I truly impacted their lives. So if you want to become an inspirational speaker who leaves a legacy you're proud of, there's never been a better time to start. Here are 3 insider secrets I learned from the most inspiring speakers on the planet. These will give you a massive head start when it comes to standing out from the crowd. Secret 1 is that great speaking starts with great listening. When I decided to give a TED Talk, I was pumped up. But I immediately started doubting myself. I remember thinking, what could I possibly talk about? I haven't accomplished anything. But I knew from Simon Sinek and others that a great speech isn't about the speaker, it's about the listener. When you understand the hopes, fears, and struggles of the people you're talking to, it doesn't matter how interesting you are. Stick to the topics that resonate with your audience, and you set yourself up for long-term success. For example, listening to others showed me how many people struggle to find their purpose. That's why I made my talk about my own struggle in that area. But there's more. Before I went on stage, I walked around and spoke to everyone in the crowd. This helped me understand their motivation so I could connect with them better. At the end of the TED Talk, I challenged people to start a real podcast in their own city. Instead of nodding their heads going, yeah, neat idea, people went out and actually did it. Reels started popping up all over the planet in New York, LA, Vancouver, and more. If you want to resonate with people, the first thing to do is listen. That's how you'll find those hot button topics that'll strike a nerve and move them to take action. Secret 2 is that being authentic doesn't just happen. Many people saw my TED Talk, but nobody saw what happened behind the scenes to make it a success. 8 weeks of military-style rehearsing is what I put myself through for this one moment. I probably practiced that entire talk 250 different times. And I recorded myself giving that talk on camera over 30 times. I would rewatch it over and over again so I could catch my flaws and iron them out. Sometimes watching it made me cringe, but I forced myself to do it. My goal was to hit that sweet spot between being prepared and sounding natural. Because I knew that authenticity takes practice. When you see someone like Jocko Willink or Dan Pena speak on stage, they sound totally natural. But that's because they've practiced their speech down cold. Another great example of this is top comedians like Jimmy Carr. They always looked like they rolled on stage and started shooting off hilarious jokes. The reality is, they've tested their words, pauses, intonation, hand movements, everything. They hone their act over and over in small clubs before they're ready for that Netflix special. A mentor of mine once told me something I'll never forget. If you sound rehearsed, you didn't rehearse enough. It's so true. Now, I know it isn't easy to be natural and authentic when you have a crowd of people watching you. You get self-conscious. But if you put in the hard work, watch yourself, and get feedback, the right words will flow when it's time to go big. Secret 3 is that you're on stage 24/7. Every day, you have the chance to inspire and influence others with your words. The opportunity is there, whether you use it or not. You could be with family, at work, or talking to a small group at dinner. And the truth is, people are dying to be inspired. It's like Thoreau said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Now more than ever, people are starved for real connection. They want someone to get their blood pumping and brighten their day. This lesson hit home for me while I was chatting with people before my TED Talk. In the beginning, I assumed none of them liked me. But when I told them I was speaking, their eyes lit up and they'd say, "Good luck. I'm sure you'll be great. That's when I realized these people were on my side. They wanted me to succeed. And so does your boss, the people in your audience, your girlfriend or husband, and most people you speak to. They want you to inspire them and make them feel good. When you can inspire people with your words, you become memorable. People want to be around you. Opportunities open up and doors appear where once there were only walls. But if you're like most people, you have a critic in your head that constantly holds you back. The one with impossible standards that shoots down anything you want to say because it's not good enough. How about we replace that critic with unshakable confidence and the ability to speak with power and persuasion? Sound good? For years, people have been asking me how to be a more influential speaker. So finally, I decided to put all of my knowledge into a simple, step-by-step program anyone can use to become the most inspiring person in the room in a fraction of the time it took me to learn. The result is our fast-track course called Speak to Inspire, where I personally mentor you to become a masterful speaker who can take any stage and create a real impact in people's lives. I have created hours of video that will teach you to use influential speaking to land gigs, win more clients, and inspire people with your voice. In this course, you'll learn to uncover your core message, master your body language, become an expert, speak with persuasion, and so much more. Plus, you'll have 2 live video calls per week with me and my team to keep you on track and hold you accountable. Let's take a quick peek at what's inside the program. Module 1 is where you discover your inspirational message. This week is about finding your why, so you can tap in to your natural influence. Once you grasp this, your speaking will accelerate to new heights. First, we look at the 5 London Real commandments of great speaking. We will break down what the top speakers all have in common so you can absorb those qualities and inspire people with your voice. Then, we teach you how to find your first 1,000 true fans. You'll uncover what type of speaker you want to be so you can attract your perfect audience. Next, I'll teach you our proven confidence on command technique to raise your self-esteem within seconds. It's perfect right before you stand up in front of a large group. Lastly, I'll show you my personal process for eliminating nervousness completely. I do this before every talk, and it's never failed me once. Once you're clear on your why, we'll move on to Module 2, crafting your message for maximum impact. When you dig up your core beliefs and values, you'll know exactly what to say to leave a lasting impact on your audience. You'll learn proven methods for turning your ideas into a well-structured speech. If you've ever had too much to say or didn't know what to say, this will end all of that for good. Then I'll teach you how to use a bulletproof action to make people do what you want without sounding forced. This is the key to inspiring people to act on your ideas and do what you suggest. Lastly, we'll go over pro-level language tips to help you become a more effective and persuasive communicator. Next is Module 3, charismatic storytelling techniques. Here, you'll learn the key elements of great storytelling. We'll teach you how to tell a riveting story that's worth your audience's time. First, I'll break down the differences between good and bad storytelling, so you can see why some work and others completely miss the mark. Then I'll reveal the power of using a hero's journey to amplify the effect of your stories. This was responsible for my TED Talk racking up hundreds of thousands of views. Next, I'll help you build your own hero's journey from scratch, giving you the formula to turn up the emotional impact in your speech. And to wrap it all up, you'll discover how to tell stories that captivate people instantly. Just knowing this will make you stand out from the crowd. Now, you're ready for Module 4, bulletproof your credibility. Here you will incorporate expert level credibility into your speech, so people believe in every word you say. We'll start by going over the instant inspire moment, a method to hook your audience's full attention. Now they will view you as an authority in a matter of minutes. Next, you'll learn how to uncover the interesting facts about your topics that completely blow your audience away, no matter how mundane your subject matter is. Plus, we'll teach you an effective method for using statistics, quotes, and testimonials from other experts. This injects persuasive power into your speech by using something called borrowed credibility. All of this prepares you for Module 5, Secrets to Authentic Delivery on Stage. Here you'll learn how to shape a magnetic voice to captivate your audience and how to master your body language to be stage ready under the spotlight. You'll learn effective techniques to get out of your head so you stop overthinking things. And you will no longer get caught up in your audience or lose your train of thought. In Module 6, you'll learn persuasion frameworks to influence the masses. Here we take everything you've learned and now use it to inspire thousands or potentially millions of people. This module teaches you proven methods to scaling your persuasive speaking to the masses so you can use your voice to leave a legacy you're proud of. I'll reveal Aristotle's world-famous persuasion framework. History's greatest orators use this to start global movements time and time again. This framework played a huge role in delivering my high-impact TED Talk, and I'm going to show you how to master it. Next, how to encourage people to take action using Monroe's motivated sequence. Then I'll reveal my audience restoration method, which allows you to jolt the room alive when the energy is low. Now you can gauge the room and constantly keep a pulse on the collective energy at all times. And lastly, I'll teach you how to recover from any embarrassing mess up by performing the Neuralizer. This move is epic. It gives you the ability to turn any mistake into a masterful moment that will make the audience praise you even more. Module 7, Make Them Laugh, Comedy Fundamentals. Here you'll learn 3 bulletproof comedy fundamentals: the rule of 3, the power of misdirection, and the law of opposites. Module 8, Crush Your Final Speech. Here we'll review everything from the entire course to prepare for your final presentation. Next, I'll show you how to present online with impact. And finally, we'll create your action plan for the next 12 months. You will have access to all of the material for life. So if you ever fall behind or want a refresher, you can go back to it anytime. And that's not all. We've created a 3-part accountability program to keep you moving forward no matter what. Here's what's included in that. First, we have 2 1-hour live video calls per week. Myself and my team will connect via live video call with you and the rest of the Speak to Inspire community every week throughout the course. Each week, we'll help you through the material and make sure you're not falling behind. All calls are recorded, so if you can't make one, no problem. You can catch up the next day. You'll also have your own mini mastermind group during that time. These are small group calls led by one of my hand-selected speaking coaches. They're a great place to ask questions and get feedback. They'll also hold your feet to the fire and make sure you get stuff done. You'll continue with monthly mastermind calls with your small group for the next year, so you can support each other through your entire journey. Second, you get access to our private Speak to Inspire Facebook group. Here, you'll post your progress and connect with the rest of the class, so you can stay inspired and continue to be held accountable. You'll also have the chance to pitch ideas, network, and reach out to me, my team, and the community for extra guidance. We'll be there for your entire journey. And third, you will get a 24-hour turnaround response from my team. Consider this your bat line. Anytime you feel yourself losing traction, hit us up. My team and I will make sure you get through any hurdles or obstacles that threaten your success in this program. At the end of the course, we have something very special, an optional graduation ceremony in London. This is an incredible action-packed weekend where you will perform your final speech in front of a live audience. Visit the new London Real World headquarters. Meet and network with your fellow classmates, record interviews inside London Real Studios, enjoy our gala graduation dinner, and get inspired for your future as a great speaker who can communicate with influence and persuasion. Again, this event is optional, but I highly recommend it. If you're unable to attend, we will live stream your speech to the audience via video link. Now, you do have other options for becoming a world-class speaker. For example, you could hire an A-list private speaking consultant to coach you. But this would cost between $3,000 and $5,000 for one half-day session. If you paid that consultant for 6 weeks, the damage would easily cost you between $180,000 and $300,000. You could also try to learn this by yourself online for free, but it would take you years just to become good at it. And let's face it, if you could learn this yourself, you already would have done it by now. The truth is, it's nearly impossible to get good at this without accountability and mentorship. Speak to Inspire cuts years off your learning curve and transforms you into an exceptional speaker. You can easily use these skills to earn a promotion, win better clients, or land a paid speaking gig that pays you back 10 times this investment. And since this is such a game changer, I want everyone to have an opportunity at this. So you can get the entire course today for the low price of $2,997. Of course, we do have a payment plan, which is 6 payments of $597. But if you pay in full today, I have 2 special bonuses for you. The first is a video kickoff call with me, where we can talk about what your main motivations are for learning how to speak to Inspire. Whether you want to be on the stage, get that promotion, or speak in front of clients or friends, we can take the next steps necessary to get you across the goal line. And the second pay in full bonus is Dan Pena live at the Ritz. This was an event we held a few years ago where 30 entrepreneurs flew in from around the world to listen to the $50 billion man. And if you want to see how the big dogs do it, you must watch this video because Dan comes out blasting. He gets everybody in the room on the back foot and then reels them back in until the end of the day where they're eating out of the palm of his hand. I'm telling you, this is a master class in speaking to Inspire, and if you pay in full, I will send you that video right now. We also have the premium package, where you receive everything from the basic package, plus a one-on-one video call with me, where I can assess your current speaking skills and how we can now 10x them by the end of the course. You also get my private email and Facebook chat for the entire duration of the mentorship. And the big one, you get to smell the leather with your own one-on-one interview right here at London Real Studios, sitting in the chair opposite me. This is a huge asset that can kickstart your role as a key person of influence and give you massive amounts of social proof. And lastly, for the people who want to go all in, I'm offering the Inner Circle package, where I will personally mentor you for 6 months after the course is complete. Not only that, you will get access to my Inner Circle, an exclusive group of driven entrepreneurs who are hungry to make a change and take their lives and businesses to the next level. Here we go big. So if you want to do that TED Talk or build that 7-figure business, this package is for you. This course is open for an extremely limited time only. Then I'm pulling the offer. No one gets in after this. I like to honor my word for those who take action in time. Anyone who rushes back asking if they can still get in will be put on the waiting list. Here, you'll be notified the next time this opens up. Make no mistake, this 6-week course will change your life. It will transform you into an inspiring person who can create real impact in the world. But you must act quick. When it's over, it's gone. So now is your chance to get in.
I honestly recommend this. It's been a great experience. Occasionally it was really tough, to be honest, but you were right.
It's kind of on the list of things to do in the given week. There was a message that came out that said, right, you've got 3 hours to do it before a call, otherwise you're in trouble.
It was a great lesson for me. It's something I could teach my kids. It's something my wife and I talk about, and it's a good lesson for anyone. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable, because when you do it, you'll be surprised the response that you receive.
But of course it was a shock. First of all, speaking English, native language is Finnish. That was maybe the first one. Then vlogging, filming yourself, never done that. I enjoy it now. And vlogging is no problem.
The program is interesting because it's this nice mix of digital products that you can go back to anytime. But then there's the element of the live calls and the Facebook messaging and the community, now real life interaction. So it's this really multi-dimensional experience, and it's frankly, it's just delightful. It really is.
Big motivator for me. Meeting everybody this weekend, meeting up with everybody that we've been interacting with really regularly, on the Zoom calls, great technology. That's another thing that I love about this. It's not just, right, 2 months, done, see you later.
So now I am me. I feel 100% me, and that I have nothing to hide.
This has been like getting home for me.
The new me, I'm talking to everyone. I talk to the taxi cab driver, I talk to the person at the coffee shop. I hand out my business card because I'm happy, I'm proud.
And I know I will have close ties to the people of this group forever.
To make this a no-brainer for you, I've decided to throw in 3 special bonuses valued at $1,997, absolutely free. In typical London Real fashion, I want to over-deliver and give you every advantage in becoming a world-class speaker. These bonuses will ensure your success beyond the course and help you make a return on your investment. They won't be available anywhere else. You can only get them if you join today. Bonus 1 is called the Inspirational Speaker Lifestyle Blueprint. It takes you behind the scenes on how to create the professional speaker lifestyle for yourself. These are the exact methods I've discovered from successful world-class speakers on turning this into a profession that pays you well. You'll learn effective strategies to create an amazing lifestyle business out of this. Then we'll learn how to find better speaking gigs that pay you big money. And we'll even cover how to get invited to speak at conferences as a keynote speaker. Making this shift will multiply your business while doing less work. Bonus 2 is called your next big promotion. Whether you're in a new company or an experienced veteran, this will help you persuade those in charge to give you the next big promotion. I'll teach you different strategies for using professional speaking skills to have more influence in your workplace. This gives you the buy-in you need to make your job easier and get what you want. Plus, you'll discover how to build a compelling case as to why you deserve a better opportunity. And lastly, bonus 3 is called Win More Clients, Make More Money. Selling is the most important skill in business today. In this training, you'll learn to sell from any platform to win more clients and make more money. You'll learn to use persuasive speaking to sway investors and well-paying clients to your business without feeling like you're selling to them. And finally, I'll teach you advanced selling methods to amp up your influence and turn total strangers into profitable customers. If you're still on the fence about joining, let me ask you something. When you look back on the past few years, how do you feel? Are you proud of what you accomplished? Are you proud of the person you've become? Or do you feel like you've been playing smaller than you are? Like you're sitting on a spring of untapped potential? What if nothing changes? What if the way you spend today is more or less the same you do for the next 6 years, 10 years, or 20 years? Would you look back with pride, knowing you left it all on the field and lived a full life? Or would you feel like you missed out on something? All because you chose to stay on the sidelines where it was safe, instead of climbing into the arena with people who put themselves on the line every day. If you're ready to become an inspirational speaker, get people fired up, and impact thousands of lives with your message, then join me today. Click the button below right now and let's get started. I'll be right there in your corner every step of the way. So pull the trigger and get immediate access now. And I'll see you on the inside.